Get up to £400 off selected Peloton bike and tread purchases and let our classes energise your day. That's school run, easy after 20 minutes on the bike, back-to-back meetings.
Sorry I'm late.
No problem after a yoga class. Power up with up to £400 off selected Peloton bike and tread purchases and make day-changing energy.
Offer ends 8th of April. Internet connection and Peloton all-access membership at £39 a month required to access Peloton content. Terms apply. See onepeloton.co.uk.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast.
With Lucas Jaguar. Looking to sell your Jaguar? Contact them today for a no-obligation quotation.
It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Domestic football returns after the international break as Rangers look to go back top of the Premiership with a win over Hibs. Top 6 spots are close to being confirmed, with Hearts hosting Kilmarnock and St Mirren going to Motherwell. Dundee are away to St Johnstone, and a big one near the bottom with Aberdeen at home to Ross County. I'm Andrew Mclean. Joining me in the studio, Gorodn Dalziel, Mark Wilson and Hugh Keevins.
There's only one way for Rangers to ensure that they win the league title, and that is to win every game in which they play from now until the end of the season. This afternoon, Hibs, who haven't beaten Rangers in a league match in the last 20 attempts. And there's only one way to keep yourself out of bother at the bottom of the league, and that's for Aberdeen to beat Ross County at Pittodrie this afternoon, where Aberdeen have not won a game in 2024, and we're almost into April. So top and bottom, big excitement on the way.
Oh, without doubt, we are officially into the business end where every point matters, and not just at the top of the league, Andrew, where Rangers face Hibs, but all throughout the division and throughout the Championship as well. Huge games this afternoon. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think we've got a terrific card. A lot of important games, not just in the top flight. If you look down into that Championship, Tannadice, what a place that'll be today. It'll be a packed house. Dundee United against Raith Rovers, but it's all about, can Rangers keep the pressure on Celtic, who are away to Livingston tomorrow, and then all of a sudden you've got that Aberdeen-Ross County game becomes so important.
Yeah, big games across all 4 divisions. A lot of important Premiership games. There's that Dundee United against Raith game in the Championship. Falkirk could potentially win League 1 today. Stenhousemuir could potentially win League 2 today. We are really now into the business end of the season, aren't we, Hugh?
I think it's the Russian roulette end of the season, because one false move, one unexpected defeat or draw, and you are in big trouble. So top, bottom, middle, Europe, everywhere you look, pressure.
Yeah, looking to see how it all unfolds today. Let's start going round the grounds, getting a bit of team news and a flavour for those Premiership games today. Starting at Ibrox, Rangers against Hibs. Gabriel Antoniazzi's there.
Thanks, Andrew. Yes, it's a sunny spring afternoon here at Ibrox. Mirrors the positivity surrounding the club. Big players returning for Rangers today. They are refreshed after the 2-week break with a chance to retake top spot. Of course, they're currently a point behind Celtic with that game in hand at Dundee in 10 days' time. And as we all know, there is a huge run-in ahead for the Gers. A very realistic chance of a treble for Philippe Clement's side. They're in the Scottish Cup semi-final. They've already lifted the League Cup as well. But just before that international interval, they did stumble a bit. They've lost their last 2 matches here in Govan and only won 1 of their last 4 games. That one victory, it was against Hibernian at Easter Road in the Cup. Give you some team news then. Well, Clement makes 2 changes to the last team he picked, which was a massive 16 days ago against Benfica. Ridvan Yilmaz picked up a knock whilst on international duty, so he misses out. Borna Barisic comes in to take his place, whilst Todd Cantwell returns to the starting 11 as well, in the place of Tom Lawrence, who's 6th amongst the substitutes. I said there are some big players returning. Ross McCausland and Dujan Sterling fit enough to make the bench, whilst Abdullah Sima is in the matchday squad for the first time since the 2nd of January. What a crucial player he could prove to be in these final few games. The 11 then, it's Jack Butland in goal, a defence of James Tavernier, Connor Goldson, John Suter and Borna Barisic. Mohamed Diomande and John Lundstrom are in midfield with Tom Cadwell just in front of them. Scott Wright will play on the right. It'll be Fabio Silva on the left, and Cyril Dessers leads the line. The substitutes: McCrory, Lawrence, Matondo, Seamer, Sterling, Balogun, King, Raskin and McCausland. I was talking about the positivity around the stadium here, Andrew. Hibs have got a mini revival of their own at the moment. They're up to 6th in the league. They've not lost in any of their last 6 league matches, and they've got 3 games to secure a top half finish. That is the aim for Nick Montgomery and his side. Now, Montgomery says the turnaround in form has come due to returning players from injury and international duty, along with January additions starting to gel. And you can see that in his team selection. There are no changes from the 3-0 win over Livingston 2 weeks ago. Shows you how confident he is in these 11 players. It'll be David Marshall in goal, a defence of Chris Cadden, Will Fish, Rocky Bashiri and Jordan Obita. Joe Newell and Nectarios Triantis are in the centre of the park, with Emiliano Marcondes just in front of them. Ella Yuan and Maiziano Mayalida are on the wings. Adam Lafondra is up top. Substitutes: Wallacott, Hanlon, Levitt, Boyle, Mavenda, Stevenson, Tavares, Mariah Welsh and Whittaker. I can't wait for kick-off here, Andrew. The pitch, by the way, looks absolutely fantastic. And the referee will be David Dickinson, and on the VAR it's Andrew Dallas.
How important is it for Rangers to get that victory ahead of Celtic playing tomorrow, Hugh?
It's vital. You can guarantee the title if you win all 9 games you have left, starting today. And they are playing a Hibs side who last beat Rangers League Cup semi-final the night that Martin Boyle got a hat-trick at Hampden and Giovanni Van Bronckhorst was sitting watching from the stand, ready to take over as Rangers manager. But Nick Montgomery, for me, still in search of the biggest result of his time as Hibs manager. Couple of draws against Hearts. The last time they played Rangers, a shambles. They lost their discipline and their composure. They lost 2 players to red cards. But Rangers were comfortable 2-0 winners anyway at Easter Road. I think Rangers will again be comfortable winners this afternoon.
Will it be that comfortable? Do you feel Hibs are maybe in a upwards trajectory? Can they cause Rangers a bit more problems than they have previously this season?
Well, they're on a half decent run, Hibs, but when you look at the previous fixtures against Rangers, you're yet to score a goal against them. And my worry for Hibs this afternoon would be how open they have been this season, not only against Rangers and Celtic, but against the rest of the team. So they're pretty easy to score against. And when you look throughout that Rangers team, there's plenty of creativity in it. Only a couple of changes from their last time out against Benfica. Cantwell back in, and Barisic, that's his favourite, Barisic in for Yilmaz. Surprising one, Scott Wright. You know, he started against Benfica. He got a bit of stick that night when Daz and I were on the show. But Philip Clement sticking with him on the right hand side. So another big afternoon for him, but it's crucial. The pressure is on at this stage, and particularly in your home game. So Rangers players will be well aware of what's expected when the game kicks off at 3.
Philip Clement says, well, he's confident that Rangers will be able to keep calm heads in this game. How important is that for Hibs, given the few minutes they had at Easter Road with the 2 red cards, Jordan Obita, Nathan Mariah Welsh, that really sort of put the game in Rangers' favour at that point?
Yeah, I think the Hibs manager will say, look, it's hard enough to go into Ibrox and playing with 11 because it'll be a difficult afternoon, plus the fact that the Rangers, the way the support get behind the club and the team nowadays, especially at Ibrox, it's got to be very, very difficult for them, so they have to keep their discipline. I think they'll make it very difficult for Rangers. Hibs have improved. I agree with the lads. If they've got an Achilles heel, if they've got a weakness, it's at the back, and Rangers have got decent players in the forward areas. Big game again, we'll say it, for Dessers. I like him. I think he's coming on to a game. I know he has his critics, but Cantwell's in there, can create for him. You know, Silva, I think's finding his feet. He looks a real good player. And Scott Wright, another opportunity for him today, but I think it'll be just a case of 3 points, Andrew. If they get a good performance on top of it, great. If they don't, it's all about putting 3 points on the board now.
How big could the return of Abdallah Sima be for Rangers? He's on the bench today for the first time in a long time. 15 goals in 33 appearances this season.
Well, he's really had a brilliant season up until he got injured. Turned out to be a huge player. Now, when he first came and we'd first seen him, he was playing through the middle for those first couple of games. I didn't quite suit him, and we weren't seeing the best out of him. But when he moved to a slightly wider area, he started returning goals, and he he left a big hole there. Now it's been an issue for Rangers. Those wide areas, they're dropping like flies. I mean, everybody seems to turn up with an injury, so no consistency. So when you get players like him back, when you've got 9 games to go, it is going to be huge. So the Rangers fans will be hoping that they see some of him today, and he's going to be a huge player in this run-in.
Well, that's the story at Ibrox. Plenty of big games in the top flight. Let's go around the rest of the grounds. Fir Park for Motherwell against St Mirren. It's Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, it's one of the big pluses, Andrew, of having the top 6, and the split at this stage of the season means that most games have importance, and it's no different here for both of these teams. Top 6 in their minds. St Mirren sitting 5th, and a win today will pretty much cement their berth in the top 6 for the end of the season. But for the home side, Motherwell, defeat last time out. I was at the game. They played Aberdeen here and they lost 1-0, and that's made their task a bit more difficult and probably unlikely. But 3 points a day would set them up nicely for their next couple of games, which are against Dundee and Hibs, their rivals for 6th place. But Motherwell also have an eye on the teams below them because they're only 5 points ahead of Ross County in 11th place. So really an important game for the Fir Park side. Someone, of course, had 2 weeks to stew over that mad 18 minutes against Kilmarnock, where they went from 2 up, cruising, to 5-2 down. So unlike them, they're usually so solid, and this season St Mirren have showed that solidity, got a good record against Motherwell, unbeaten, and haven't even lost a goal in the 3 games that they played against each other. So today for Motherwell, it's about finding a way past the St Mirren defence. We talk a lot about Theo Bair been in good form, but for me the main man has been Blair Spittle. Goals and assists regularly. A real blow when he was announced recently that he signed a pre-contract with Hearts, but he'll want to go out on a real high. I was at this corresponding fixture in September, and Motherwell were absolutely outstanding. They played brilliantly, but they lost 1-0, and that was the start of that really long bad run that they had towards the tail end of 2023. So sure, Kettle will take the same performance, but looking for a few goals this time and the 3 points. Where Stephen Robinson, I think he would just gladly walk away today with the same scoreline. Usually a good game between these two. I'm actually really looking forward to these 90 minutes. For Motherwell, they've made 3 changes. Blaney, Nicholson and Lennon Miller dropped to the bench. Lennon Miller, of course, injured, Scotland under 19 duty, but makes the bench. In come Gent, Devine and Dravkovsky. They go a 3-4-1-2 formation. Liam Kelly in goal, Stephen O'Donnell, Paul McGinn and Ben Casey at the back. Adam Devine, Davor Dravkovsky, Andy Halliday and Georgie Gent in midfield, with Blair Spittle in behind the 2 strikers, Jack Vale and Theo Bair. Subs from Motherwell: Ashton Oxborough, Bevis Mugabe, Ollie Shaw, Sam Nicholson, Shane Blaney, Ibaye Moses, Lennon Miller, Luca Ross and Callum Butcher. And for St Mirren, they've also made 3 changes from that 5-2 defeat against Kilmarnock. Dunham McMenamin dropped to the bench, and Flynn is out completely. In come Bolton, Olisanya, and the fans will be delighted. The St Mirren fans, Ryan Strain, been out for months. I think he's been sorely missed, but St Mirren fans will be glad he makes the starting 11. 3-4-3 formation for them. Zach Hemming in goals, James Bolton, Alec Gogic and Marcus Fraser at the back. Ryan Strain, Mark O'Hara, Caelan Boyne Munson, Scott Tans on midfield, with Toysey, Olisanya, Mikael Mandron and Greg Kiltie up front. Peter Ominski, Richard Taylor, Jonah Ayunga, Conor McMenamin, James Scott, Kwon, Keanu Bacchus, Charles Dunn and Elvis Buomono are the subs for St Mirren, and the referee today is Matthew McDermott, and the VAR Grant Irvin.
Yeah, a lot of interest when it comes to the top 6 in that game. The same for this one at Tynecastle, Hearts against Kilmarnock. David Friel.
Yeah, Andrew, glorious day, perfect pitch, 3rd versus 4th in the capital. I think this is one to really look forward to. It should be a cracker. I think we're now at the stage where Hearts are counting down the weeks until they officially clinch 3rd place. It is going to happen, you would think, and a win today would clearly be a big step towards that. Kilmarnock sit just below them in 4th, 11 points behind Hearts, so this could be a defining game for Stephen Naismith's side, you would think. There was such a great run after the turn of the year, so many wins, but they did lose to Ross County just before that international break. Naismith's going to expect a big reaction today. I think that's natural, and once again Lawrence Shankland will be the man to look to for goals. I think Scotland striker probably divided opinion with these 2 friendly appearances for Scotland. Did some things good, missed a few chances, but he is 27 for Hearts this season and will clearly be desperate to add to that. He's also going to be supported by Kenneth Vargas, who completed a permanent £500,000 move during the window. Hearts also welcome back the likes of Frankie Kent and Georgie Grant, while there is a start for young Macaulay Tate. So Hearts are going to be a 4-3-3 formation today. Xander Clark in goals, Victor Lembikisa, Frankie Kent, Stephen Kingsley and Alex Cochrane at the back, George Grant, Macaulay Tate and Benny Beningame across the middle, with Alan Forrest and Kenneth Vargas either side of Shankland. Subs for Hearts are Gordon, Oda, Atkinson, Devlin, Mackay, Denham, Fraser, Tagawa and Rolls. As for Kelly, as Fraser said, they were involved in one of the games of the season before the break. 2-0 down then within 18 minutes. They are 5-2 up to beat St Mirren 5-2. Derek McInnes would take the same outcome today, probably doesn't want the same type of drama. That was a massive top 6 boost for his side, and if they better Hibs result today, they will officially secure a top half finish. They can also do that with a win win here if Dundee lose. So there's a few permutations flying about Tynecastle today. When I arrived, Derek McInnes under no illusions how tough this is going to be against one of the best teams in the league, but they've got nothing to lose, and you would imagine Kelly, as they always do with the firepower they've got in the team and off the bench, are going to have a go today. Only one change: young David Watson has scored a wonder goal against St Mirren. He drops to the bench. Lewis Mayo is back from suspension. Will Dennis in goals, Lewis Mayo, Joe Wright, Stuart Finlay and Robbie Dees at the back. Danny Armstrong, Liam Donnelly, Liam Poworth and Matty Kennedy in midfield, with Kyle Vassell and Marley Watkins up front. Subs for Kelly are O'Hara and Daba, Mackenzie, Balagizi, Watson, Cameron, Stewart, Gary Mackay-Steven and Kevin Van Veen. The referee at Tynecastle is Willie Collum and the VAR is Stephen Mclean.
Yeah, that looks like a good match-up. So does this at Pittodrie, Aberdeen against Ross County. Dave Galloway's there.
Yes, a massive match for Aberdeen, Andrew, as they bid to avoid repeating what Hibs did 10 years ago in sleepwalking to relegation. For sure, they can take plenty encouragement from their win away to Motherwell 2 weeks ago, but they haven't made a habit out of consecutive league victories this season. In fact, they've only achieved that feat once, way back in September. Ross County will have a big support here. They were handed extra tickets after selling out their original allocation. And there's confidence building in the Staggies' ranks. Don Cowie's certainly steadied the ship since taking interim charge, with his team having gained 8 points from a possible 12. An away win would be a huge boost for County, with the Dons just 3 points ahead of them and St Johnstone only 1 point in front. Looking at the teams then, in Aberdeen just make the one change. It's Richard Jensen replacing Angus MacDonald, so it's Keller Roos in goals. Across the back, Nicky Devlin, Stefan Gartenman, Richard Jensen and Jack McKenzie. The sitters today, Connor Barron and Graham Shinney, with Jamie McGrath, Leighton Clarkson and Junior Hoylett further forward. Bojan Majowski, as ever, leading the attack. The subs for the Dons today: Doohan, Duke, McGarry, Hayes, Sockler, Morris, Polvara, Duncan and Milne. Ross County, couple of changes for them. Connor Randall and Josh Sims are in. Out drop Max Sheaf and Jordan White. So George Wickens in goals. A back three today of Miché Fetty, Jack Baldwin and Ryan Leake. Across the middle, Loic Aina, Connor Randall, Victor Laturi and Josh Reid, with Jan Danda tucked in behind the front two of Josh Sims and Simon Murray. The subs for the Staggies: Ross, Bothwick Jackson, Brown, Sheaf, Harmon, Henderson, Keller, White and Brophy. Match referee here at glorious sunny but chilly Pittodrie is Kevin Clancy, and in VAR, Stephen Kirkland.
And last but not least, at McDermott Park, St Johnstone against Dundee. Roger Hanna's watching that one.
Yes, Andrew, and St Johnstone welcomed Dundee for today's Tayside derby, sitting down in 10th place, or just a single place and a single point above that dreaded relegation playoffs position. It's just been 1 win in 7 for Craig Levine's side, and that included defeat at Celtic Park just before the international break. He lost Austrian midfielder Sven Sprangler in the first half of that game to injury, and he misses out today. Dundee 8 points and 3 places better off than their rivals. They have their own injury concerns, headlined of course by the continued absence of Owen Beck. Big Sean in a 2-2 draw here in September, and also in Dundee's 2-1 win at Danes last month. But it has been over 6 years since the Dark Blues won an away derby here. Quite a talented team that was, Andrew. Jack Henry, Glenn Kamara, Scott Allen, Mark O'Hara, all playing in that Dundee side. As for today's teams, with St Johnstone, 3 changes from the side that lost at Celtic. Tony Gallagher, Max Kusharai and Nicky Clark all come in. As I say, Sprangler's injured, and Graham Carey and Andy Considine go to the bench. So that means it's Dimitar Mitov in goals. A back 3, Ryan McGowan, Liam Gordon the skipper and Luke Robinson. Across the middle, David Keltons, Matt Smith, Dan Phillips, Max Kusharai and Tony Gallagher. And up front, Nicky Clark with Adama Sidibe. Only 8 substitutes for Craig Levine, including Ali Crawford, Daz's old golfing pal, whose only experience for St Johnstone this season, half an hour off the bench in a League Cup defeat at Stenhouse Muir last July. So a shocking conclusion there. Their substitutes: Richards, Considine, May, Carey, Crawford, Kimpioka, Franchak and Connor Smith. Dundee, they haven't played for 17 days between the international break and of course that postponement to the Rangers game at Dens Park. Their last action, a 1-0 win against Aberdeen back on March the 13th. One change from that winning side. Curtis Main drops out completely, and that means there's a start for Amadou Bakayoko. So it's John McCracken in goal. A back three: Antonio Portales, Joe Shaughnessy the captain, and Aaron Donnelly. Across the middle, Dara Costello, Lyle Cameron, Mo Siller, Luke McCown and Owen Dodgson. And up front, Bakayoko will partner Scott Tiffany. On the bench, Sharp, Astley and McGee, Lamy, Robinson and Robertson, Howley, Boateng and Mellon. The referee is Ian Snedden, making just his third Premiership appearance, and the VAR is Greg Aiken.
Well, that is the beauty of the split, Hugh Keevins, that despite the fact that there is 8 or 9 games to go for a lot of sides, that this weekend there are some must-win fixtures in there for teams.
Well, you look at the Dundee, for example. They could leapfrog Hibs, because I cannot see Hibs getting anything out of their visit to Ibrox. So Dundee could take the place of Hibs in the top 6. The Aberdeen Ross County game we can discuss all day long, because here we have managerless Aberdeen, who said that they hope to have their manager by the end of the international break and still don't. And you would have thought that for this particular fixture you would have wanted the new man there to see what bounce, if any, he could bring. And of course St Johnstone, they're slipping, sliding away, and they really could do with a home win against Dundee. But I think Tony Docherty might have their measure.
Yeah, there could be some important results across the Premiership today. Of course, some good action down the divisions. There could be a couple of titles won. There is that top of the table clash in the Championship as well between Dundee United and Wraith Rovers. There'll be plenty more build up to those games, but after the break we'll be taking a look at some of the week's biggest talking points.
And now a word from our podcast sponsor, Lookers Motor Group. They've got Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. The Land Rover showrooms can be found in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showroom found in Hillington. And right now at lookers.co.uk you can browse and shop 24/7, value your part exchange, order and take delivery from the comfort of your own home. Every approved used Jaguar, Land Rover or Volvo comes with a minimum of 12 months warranty, roadside assistance, MOT test warranty, an independent mileage and service history check, software updates and lots more. Check out lookers.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now back to the podcast.
Get up to £400 off selected Peloton bike and tread purchases and let our classes energise your day. That's school run easy after 20 minutes on the bike. Back-to-back meetings.
Sorry I'm late.
No problem after a yoga class. Power up with up to £400 off selected Peloton bike and tread purchases and make day-changing energy.
Offer ends 8th of April. Internet connection and Peloton all access membership at £39 a month required to access Peloton content. Terms apply. See onepeloton.co.uk.
Hey, it's Tyler West. Hear that? That is £250,000 tax-free falling right into your bank. All you need to do is enter at winhappy.me/wincash. Then you'll be able to spend it on whatever you like. Maybe a new car, maybe a shopping spree. Or you could hire 100 clowns to follow you around and entertain you all day. No? Just me then. UK residents over 18 only. Terms and conditions apply. Competition ends today at 3 p.m. when I could be calling you. Win £250,000 at winhappy.me/wincash.
Action as it happens. And your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
A big day of action ahead in the Scottish Premiership and across the Championship, League 1, League 2, lots to look forward to. But this is the point in the afternoon where we normally gauge the opinion of the guys in the studio and around the grounds of the week's biggest talking points. And I think it's fair to say that one of the favourite Clyde One Super Scoreboard topics has reared its head again in ticket allocations, Hugh.
Well, I think the attitude of the fans last night, or the response of the fans, was disappointing, because here they have been shown the way ahead. 5% may not be enough for some, but it's the start of bringing back the fixture to a recognisable state. And the disappointing thing for me was supporters saying, "Oh, I want the whole of the Broomloan stand or nothing," and others saying 5% is too much. I think that both clubs have taken an encouraging step forward and should be backed all the way.
What did you make of it when that news broke yesterday, Roger?
Yeah, listen, I was quite surprised. There was chat about it at the tail end of the week, Andrew. I really didn't see this coming. I thought the two sides were way too entrenched in their own positions over this for any variety of compromise to emerge. So, as Hugh says, fair play to the two clubs. It doesn't matter what you do, whether it's 5%, whether it is the full Broomland stand, whether it's 7,000 Rangers fans at Celtic Park or 1,500. Somebody's not going to be happy with it. But I tend to agree with you. I think it's a step in the right direction. The likes of Brendan Rodgers and Philippe Clement have both spoken in the recent past about getting away fans back in. I think the football people, the managers and the players like the idea of away fans back in, and I think it's now encouraging the hierarchies at the two clubs agree.
Yeah, David Friel, you look at the numbers involved, 5% for each club. There are some supporters, we heard them on the phone last night saying that they want those numbers back up to the 7,000-8,000 it was before. But does this seem like the right compromise, just given the complications there are?
Yeah, it's the perfect compromise for me, Andrew. I know Brendan Rodgers said exactly the same. Let's hope it's the start of a step towards that. I don't think we'll ever see Celtic get a full stand at Ibrox and Rangers getting large swathes, the Celtic Park stand behind the goal. I think the 2,500 is a perfect compromise. I agree with the guys, it's a landmark day yesterday, Celtic and Rangers agreeing something. I think working at the games, being at the games, speaking to players, managers, I don't think the lockout was good for anybody, Andrew. The home team, away team, players, managers, the spectacle, the media, everything. I think we wanted fans back. I think we wanted the colour back and just the event feeling like it always has done. And to me, it's encouraging. I think 5% will be the limit. I don't see either club going above that. There's obviously clearly logistics with season tickets and everything, but I think it's great news for Scottish football.
I know the broadcasters and the SPFL were keen to find some sort of compromise. Fraser, is this good for the advert of the Scottish game?
Yeah, I mean, whether non-Old Firm fans like it or not, Andrew, this is the showpiece game. This is what people outside of our country talk about. When I'm doing my tours of the world sometimes, talking to other unions and UEFA and people like that as well, they want to talk about the Old Firm game. And people outside looking at this, if there's no away fans, you automatically think there's a problem. I mean, in Holland, for example, Ajax and Feyenoord play and they just can't have fans because there's so many problems outside of the ground and inside of the ground as well. And that just was the kind of message, people saying to me, what's wrong with Scottish football, what's wrong with this game? So it's a good step forward. What it shows to me is we don't have any regulations in our country. We have really poor governance, basically because the clubs don't like to have rules in place. There should be some rules in place to stop clubs saying no, you're not getting away fans in. But of course our clubs don't like rules, and the clubs run the game, not the SPFL in terms of the Doncaster in this world. So it just shows you the importance of having some kind of regulation in place. But common sense has prevailed. I didn't see this one coming. It's a good step forward, and we'll see how it goes next season. But I don't think we'll ever get to the stage of full stands. I actually played in an Old Firm semi-final, Cup time 1993. It was a neutral game because Hampden was getting done up, and Celtic had half the ground and Rangers had half the ground, and it was unbelievable. So I can recall those games. We'll never get back to the stage of having one stand each, but that's a good step forward.
As always in Scottish football, not everyone is going to agree on everything, Mark, but when you look at the fans' perspective, we heard a few last night that said they just didn't feel the games were the same without away supporters. From a player's perspective as well, what makes it so special having both sets of fans in the stadium?
Well, just that noise and the colour that brings it was the most special atmospheres for me to play in, and I'm sure if you went through the full list who have been lucky enough to play in that fixture, whether that be at Celtic Park or at Ibrox. My very first one I played in was at Ibrox, and to have that full stand, that 7,000 or 8,000 Celtic fans there was incredible, particularly when you win, of course. But equally at Celtic Park, even just coming out for the warm-up and you hear the noise, you're still getting booed at Celtic Park, but you understand
that was a Celtic fan.
Oh no, he's back. But just to see the colour, and again the atmosphere just made it the standout fixture, not only in Scottish football, in British football. So I always thought it was an easy fix, I really did. And this about clubs saying, oh well, we've already sold the tickets and the season tickets. Always thought it was easy just to pre-plan, much like they're doing just now. As of next season or as of the year after, the allocation will be back. And I heard some people last night saying, oh, the security issues. Well, it's not as if we're reinventing or inventing the wheel. We've done it before, so it's pretty easy to go back to again. But it's
I think there will be complications because it is that European allocation, as people call it, and there will be bigger crowds, whether it's 2,500, whether it's 3,000. But with the way it's looking now, it's not going to start until next season. It will give clubs the chance to work out what they need to work out.
Logistically, it's probably a nightmare for the pair of them, because season ticket holders will be asked to vacate their seats, and that always causes problems. But no matter who brokered this deal, no matter the logistical problems that confront both clubs, this is a step forward and has to be embraced, and it has to be recognised as a breakthrough between two clubs who specialise in mutual loathing. So there's nothing but good out of yesterday's announcement.
Yeah, I've got to say, when I do my tours of North Lanarkshire, Andrew, not unlike Fraser, who tours the world, I'm with Mark, I'm with Fraser, guys that have played in this fixture. The one thing you always talk about, you don't remember a game, you always remember the atmosphere. You always remember standing in that tunnel waiting to walk out. I was very fortunate that as an 18-year-old I played 60,000 at Celtic Park, and I think there were about 25,000-30,000 Rangers supporters that day. And I've vice versa at Ibrox, when Celtic you took the full end, as you call it, the Celtic end. It's all about the fans. It's all about the atmosphere. Sometimes you look at these games and the quality is very, very poor, but you will always remember what happens in the stands with the atmosphere of this game, and it is a showpiece game. I'm delighted there's more fans getting in. I agree with the lads, I don't think we'll ever get up to the stages that Mark and I played involved in Fraser, but at least it's a step in the right direction.
They used to send Mark Wilson up to the Rangers end to warm up because he get less grief up there.
It's not quite the 7,000 or 8,000, but 2,500-3,000 is a huge upgrade on, first of all, nothing, but it's also a huge upgrade on 700 or 800. I've covered many European games at Celtic Park and at Ibrox. The away support can make a huge impact when it's those numbers.
Oh, without doubt, and it'll make a huge difference to the actual fixture. I think Daz is spot on. Sometimes when we watch this fixture, and more often than not, the quality on the pitch, the product isn't particularly captivating. The game is played at such a pace that you wouldn't go away and say that was an outstanding game. But again, it's everything that's wrapped about the fixture, and the fans are such a crucial part of it. So look, it's 2,500, 3,000 just now. Who's to say it won't get back to bigger allocations as time goes on? And season ticket holders who have to give up their space, they had to do it previously as well. They subscribed to the season tickets at the start of the season, knowing fine well that those games were off limit, and that's why they got a reduced cost season ticket. Fans will still snap that up the same way. So again, hugely positive, and well done to the clubs for coming together. And it's just interesting the timing that's been done right now. Both clubs are, in this title race. They're playing each other twice coming up, and they decide to release the news now. But no, all good news, Andrew.
I think quite a few people have noticed that there is a certain fixture on the horizon next weekend. Is it a case of everything that happens this weekend, the way we work in this city, Roger, that everything that happens at Ibrox today, everything that happens at the Tony Macaroni Arena tomorrow, will be viewed through the lens of next Sunday?
Without doubt at all, Andrew. Rangers will look to win today, as you said at the top of the show, to take first place for 24 hours. Celtic will win at Livingston tomorrow, you would imagine, to take first place back. Rangers will know they have that game in hand at Dens Park still to go. But as I've said in the show a few times this season, Rangers have done terrifically well. If they are to win the league, they are going to have to beat Celtic at some stage, and you would think Ibrox next Sunday lunchtime will offer them the best chance to do that this season. Rangers players, the likes of Scott Wright, is maybe a surprise that he's kept his shirt. As Mark said, they will know a good performance will cement them in the team for the derby next Sunday. So Rangers, I would imagine, will come flying out of traps against Hibernian this afternoon. And as you say, everything that happens this weekend, they were even talking silly red cards. Remember Joe Hart sent off at Livingston before? There was enough red cards in that last Hibs Rangers meeting, so the two teams will need to be wary of that kind of thing as well. And you're spot on. Everything that happens at Ibrox today, everything that happens at Livingston tomorrow will have an impact on next Sunday at Ibrox.
It is now a clean run through to the end of the season. No international breaks left. David Friel, is this when the pressure really starts to ramp up?
Yeah, of course. I mean, as you're saying, we're all kind of waiting for that international break to get out the way, and then it is the business end of the season. Yeah, I think, as Roger said, forget about next week. both teams have to take care of today and tomorrow first. I mean, I heard a lot of chat last night about should Celtic rest Cameron Carter-Vickers tomorrow, for example. If I was Brendan Rodgers, I wouldn't rest Cameron Carter-Vickers, Andrew, because I don't think Celtic are a consistent enough team to think that Livy is just a gimme tomorrow. Yes, Livy are heading for the Championship, but Tete Yengi, Joel Nubley, Bruce Anderson can cause problems. If I'm Brendan Rodgers, I'd be playing my strongest possible team tomorrow to try and get 3 points ahead of going to Ibrox, because Celtic can't afford to think about next week and just forget about Livy tomorrow. But likewise with Rangers today, you look at Philip Clement's side, it's a very, very strong team. So yeah, everybody is thinking about next week, but both teams need to take care of business this weekend first.
Yeah, the managers always tell us, Fraser, that they don't have a view on it. They're looking solely at their games this weekend. Can you ever really believe them?
I think it's difficult for them, and I think it's also difficult for them after an international fortnight as well to get the players back, and a lot of the players played in midweek at various levels and getting their focus back onto a game like this. And sometimes it's after international breaks that the old firm are most vulnerable. So I think that's that's the biggest thing that these two managers have this weekend, is to get the focus back. And both tricky games in different ways. Hibs are a decent side, and Livingston just with the surface as well, and Celtic's record there, they found it quite difficult sometimes as well. So for the managers it's about that, but of course they'll have an eye. They'll both be wanting to be a couple of goals up after an hour and be thinking, right, who do I need to rest for next week? Who played international football? Who needs an extra bit of time on the pitch? Can we get, for Rangers, can they get Abdul Asima back on the pitch? Can he get 30 minutes? Would that be enough for him to start next week? So of course we'll have half an eye on next week's game, but first and foremost, get ahead, ideally 2 or 3 ahead if they can, and then make these substitutions.
How important is the mentality at this point in the season, when it is that clean run through to the end of the campaign and the teams are so tight as well?
Well, it's the biggest thing, I think, because you've got quality in your side. You've seen that with the points return all season. You know what the players can deliver on the pitch in the normal run-of-the-mill games. But when you add a whole lot of pressure on that, when it's nip and tuck at the top, that's when you really find out who the players are and who the ones to drag others along with you. So these games are difficult. Each team has their challenges. Celtic, of course, away to Livy on the Astro, but Rangers at home, again, it brings its own pressure. The expectation, the fans going along the lovely spring day thinking 3 points, and it piles the pressure on Celtic. Sometimes that can just get to you as well. So it's going to be an interesting afternoon, and same again tomorrow as well. Yeah, lots of action to get stuck into today before we need to worry about any of that next week. I'm sure the attentions will turn to it very quickly, but the clubs need to get their business done today, and we will go back around the grounds next.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Around 15 minutes to go until the 3 o'clock kickoffs around Scotland today. Lots to look forward to. Plenty of good action in the Scottish Premiership, but down the divisions as well, that we will keep you up to date with throughout this afternoon, all the way through to 6 o'clock. Let's start going back around the grounds again to get a bit of a flavour of what is going on. Let's go to McDermott Park. Roger Hannah will be watching St Johnstone against Dundee, and I think both teams will maybe have an eye on what's happening elsewhere, because St Johnstone will know with Aberdeen and Ross County playing each other, one or both of those teams will drop points today. Could be an opening for them, whereas with Dundee desperate to secure that top 6 place, and with Hibs away to Ibrox, they may see that as an opportunity as well.
Yeah, I would agree with that. St Johnstone especially, all that sort of honeymoon period of Craig Levein coming in here and getting a few results, it seems a long time ago, and they have sunk down between Aberdeen and Ross County. They will be avidly awaiting updates from Dave Galloway at Pittodrie this afternoon, because they most certainly are not out of this relegation scrap at all. And there'll be some nervy, anxious fixtures between Aberdeen and Ross County and St Johnstone after this split, to see who gets into that dreaded relegation playoff place. Not long ago, remember, St Johnstone were in it, had to scramble past Inverness, Cali Thistle just to preserve their Premiership status. They won't want that sort of post-season anxiety again here. Dundee have been a success story for me this season, Andrew, to come up, to change, I think 21 players Tony Docherty's brought in, including 10 loanees during his 2 transfer windows as manager. He has transformed the team that won the championship last season, and whether or not they finish in the top 6, I think they'll be very pleased with their first season back in the top flight.
Yeah, do you think that would be a disappointment for Dundee if they didn't manage to get the top 6, just given how well they've done this season? Or is it a case of the job is mostly done and they can be happy with where they're sitting?
I have to say that when the season started, Dundee's priority was to remain in the division, and they will do that, and they'll do it handsomely. Now they're in the business of putting icing on top of the cake, but for me, Tony Docherty has already done the job, because Dundee are still in a division and they're waiting to see if the noisy neighbours from across the road can get out of the Championship and restore the Dundee derby.
I'd be disappointed, Andrew, I've got to say. I totally take on board what Hugh says. At the start of the season, aim, stay in the league, no doubt. You look at this opportunity, Aberdeen, big team, been poor. Hibs haven't been the greatest. You look at Motherwell, been poor as well, you've got to say, down there fighting. Ross County, Livingston. I think this year was probably, you would look upon it as your best chance. But they could achieve that, but your best chance to be in the top 6. He's done a terrific job. He's got a terrific side up there. They're a good team. It'll be a difficult game for him today, that I've no doubt, but they could leapfrog Hibs if they win and Hibs lose. So I would be disappointed if I was Tony Docherty, if I'm really honest about. But I know he set out to say, get us in the league, keep us in the league, and we'll take it from there. But this is a great opportunity for him.
Dave Galloway will be watching Aberdeen against Ross County. Dave, would Aberdeen fans be expecting that a manager would have been in place for this game today?
Yeah, absolutely, Andrew. And you know, the update on Red TV was not before time, because we had, when Neil Warnock sensationally quit after 32 days, we were assured by the chairman that they were well down the road to appointing a new manager, and then a matter of days later the chief executive says we're starting to do the interviews now, and then the big aim was, as we all know, it was well publicised, get a new manager in place during the international break. That hasn't happened, and now Alan Burrows says we're very, very close to appointing a new manager. So we'll just have to wait and see. It'll be very interesting to see what impact this has on the Aberdeen performance today. Certainly there is plenty tension in the air. It promises to be a really tense encounter here. The outcome, I think, could hinge on which team makes the better start. If it's Aberdeen, then they can kick on and go 6 points clear of the relegation playoff place. However, and I've seen this happen a few times this season, many times, if Ross County start the stronger, then the home crowd could quickly turn on their side and the visitors could really capitalise on that. I noticed doing my research for this game, this will incidentally be the 6th time in this campaign, if you're looking for omens, that Kevin Clancy has taken charge of a Dons game, and they failed to win any of them so far.
Yeah, well, no manager. It seemed at the start of the international break that this was a good time for Aberdeen to get everything sorted with no games for a couple of weeks. But is there a concern there, do you think? We don't know what goes on behind the scenes a lot of the time. Will there be a concern there that at this point, going into their first competitive fixture after the international break, that Peter Leven is still in charge?
There has to be a concern, fairly or unfairly, based on Dave Cormack's record as the owner of the club when it comes to appointing managers. He's a 3-time failure, and he can't do it 4 times. You would have thought that this fixture would have been targeted. Whatever happens, get a manager in by that game against Ross County because of its implications. I do understand what Alan Burrows said in the week, that it's more important to make the right choice than a quick choice. But 3 weeks, is that really quick? My understanding is they keep going back to try and convince one man, and it's not Michael O'Neill, and the man is taking some convincing. So if you don't have a manager by the end of next week, when they play the final game before the split, trouble.
It doesn't seem like the ideal point in the season to have uncertainty around your manager, does it?
I think they're a little bit of luck concerned with Aberdeen, because they got a result against Motherwell just before the international break. I thought that bought them a couple of weeks. I think they're a shambles just now, I've got to say. I totally agree with you. You brought in a manager, an experienced manager from England, to keep the job going until the end of the season, to give them all the time in the world. He left 3 weeks ago, and the statement after that was they were so near to appointing the next manager. I totally take on board that they have got to get this one right. Of course, every club wants to get every appointment a manager correct, but obviously with Aberdeen's past record, it puts them under a little bit of pressure. But I just think just now, inside that building, it's a bit of a shambles.
A good match-up at Fir Park between Motherwell and St Mirren. A St Mirren side who will be looking to bounce back from that big disappointment last time out, Fraser Wishart, and a Motherwell side who probably a long time ago thought they were well out of the top 6 race but still have an outside chance.
Yeah, I think it is an outside chance though, Andrew, because of that defeat to Aberdeen a couple of weeks ago, and you're right, a couple of evenly matched teams, but St Mirren really pushed on. That 5-2 defeat was just so unlike them because they based their game on being well organised, being solid, and they hit well in the break, pace, the wide areas, pace in the midfield as well from the likes of Ahara getting themselves forward, and that was the case here in September when the teams played. Motherwell completely dominated the play. They had chance after chance after chance, couldn't score. Scott Tanser pops up at the other end and scores against a runner play, and Motherwell couldn't break them down, and that was the start of that really bad run. So you could say that Motherwell have got themselves out of the relegation battle just for a couple of bad results. You know, if they were to lose 2 or 3 the next few games, then all of a sudden post-split they'll be looking over their shoulder if Ross County, St Johnstone, Aberdeen manage to pick up a few points in the next couple of weeks. So double-barrelled really thing for Motherwell. 3 points takes them unlikely, but they've still got that chance of getting to the top 6 because they played Dundee and Hibs in the next 2 games before the split, but a win also just takes them further away from the bottom of the table. So a really big game here today. 2 evenly matched teams, and I don't think there'll be anything between them at the end of the game. I think there'll be a split of the points here at Fir Park.
I think it's a marvellous gesture on the part of the Motherwell and St Mirren fans that after 2 minutes they are going to rise to applaud Fraser Wishart, because that's the number he wore with great distinction at Fir Park and at the old Love Street.
2 minutes later he was usually subbed.
Fraser, Daz just gave you a great compliment there. Just off where he said fit boy Fraser could get up and down that wing with big strides. He followed it up though by saying no quality though.
Oh no, it's that great thing, isn't it? People come up to you and say, aye, you worked really hard, you were a journeyman player, well done. You know? Oh, cheers.
You were versatile.
A good long throw.
Good long throw. 100% Fraser, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, a big game at Tynecastle as well between Hearts and Kilmarnock. A lot of eyes, as they usually are, on Lawrence Shankland. Will he feel he has a point to prove at all after the international break, David Friel, or because of his record for Hearts this season he'll just hit the ground running again?
Yeah, it doesn't strike me as the type to get too caught up about things like that, Andrew, to be perfectly honest with you. Look, he's had an unbelievable season, 28 goals for club and country. He's actually in a mini drought just now. He's not scored in his last 4 appearances, so I'm sure he'll want to put that right and just get in among the goals. But I don't think Lawrence Shankland will be too perturbed by the reaction, good or bad, to his Scotland performances. Look, he's there in merit. He's probably going to go to the Euros. Whether he starts or not remains to be seen, but all he has to do is keep scoring goals for Hearts, and I'm sure he'll be in among it today. Listen, as you say, it's a big game for Kelly as well. Derek McInnes actually just been speaking, saying he's not thinking about catching Hearts above him, it's all about the top 6. He thinks Kelly probably need 1 more point in the next 3 games to do that. Obviously getting a draw or a win here today would pretty much secure it, so big game for both teams. But I think Hearts did look a bit jaded last time against Ross County, so Stephen Naismith's going to want a lot better today.
Well, that is the picture from 4 of the 5 Premiership matches. We'll go back to Ibrox next.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Not long to go until our 3 o'clock kickoffs. Let's get the final bit of build up at Ibrox with Gabriel Antoniazzi.
Thanks, Andrew. Yes, it's a positive atmosphere around here. Fans seem to have reset after the international break. Smiles on the faces around the stadium. Now, of course, Rangers only won 1 of their last 4 games, losing their last 2 matches at Ibrox, but they are ready to go for the run-in. Supporters here excited but expectant. Philippe Clement was in a good mood yesterday as well. He's got players returning from long-term injuries. He hinted at a new contract for John Lundstrom, and he's looking forward to this home stretch with a very real possibility of a treble. Of course, a victory here today is what's on his mind. Rangers won all 3 games against Hibs this season without conceding a goal. Another victory would be perfect preparation for next week's Old Firm, which could be title defining ahead of the business end of the season. A quick run through of the teams again. It's 2 changes for Rangers. Jack Butland in goal, James Tavernier, Connor Goldson, John Sousa and Borna Barisic in defence. Mohamed Diamande and John Lundstrom in midfield with Todd Cantwell in front of them. Scott Wright and Fabio Silva are out wide. Cyril Dessers leads the line, whilst Ross McCausland, Dujon Sterling and Abdullah Sima are fit enough to make the substitute bench. What about Hibernian? No changes from their last game, a 3-0 win over Livingston 2 weeks ago. David Marshall in goal, a defence of Chris Cadden, Will Fish, Rocky Bashiri and Jordan Obita. Joe Newell and Nectarios Triantis are in midfield with Emiliano Marcondes in front of them. Eli Yuan and Maiziana Mayolida out wide. Adam Lafondra plays up top. Now, Andrew, there's a display to the left of me just in the Broomloan stand, an old school badge, a lion rampant with the word ready in front of it, and that's where the fans feel they are at, ready to retake top spot in the league, ready to push on and go for the title and then possibly a treble. It all starts here today for the business end of the season. Referee David Dickinson hands the ball over to Cyril Dessers, who puts it on the centre spot, and we are about to get underway at Ibrox.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Interested in a career in pharmacy? Apply today to join their team.
Yes, underway in the 3 o'clock kickoffs around Scotland, so that means that we need to get the predictions from you guys in here, starting with, you know what, should we do it in reverse order, because you've complained a lot recently about the fact that you're always last, so I'll let you go first this time.
I think that's only fair. I'm delighted that you've noticed that, Andrew. Okay,
hard not to notice it when you moan about it every single week.
Okay, I will start with home win Ibrox Rangers. I fancy Motherwell to turn over St Mirren this afternoon. I fancy Hearts, I fancy Aberdeen, and I fancy St Johnstone Dundee draw.
A draw there, right? I thought you were going to say a St Johnstone win for 5 home wins there for a second.
No. On to me, Andrew.
Yeah,
okay, I think Rangers will win comfortably today at Ibrox. I think St Mirren will beat Motherwell. I'll go for Hearts to beat Kelly, a draw at Pittodrie, and I'll go for Dundee to beat St Johnstone.
Only one difference between Mark Wilson and myself. Rangers to win comfortably at Ibrox. St Mirren, I go for them to get over the horror story that was Rugby Park and beat Motherwell. Hearts, I think, will beat Kilmarnock at Tynecastle. I'm going to go for managerless Aberdeen against Ross County. And in Perth, Dundee to beat St Johnstone, mainly because St Johnstone are rotten.
Well, there we go. Let's see if we will have any early action from the games in this one. There is an early shot for Bojan Miovski, who puts that one just wide for Aberdeen. Roger Hanna early asking you for another prediction. Who do you fancy for the boat race, Daz?
Always go for Cambridge. And
for what possible reason?
I don't know, because if I was picking universities,
used to study there, yeah,
I would have went for Cambridge, right? I always loved.
There's a thought. Imagine him rocking up to Cambridge and year one.
And the reason, Roger, I used to watch a boat race every year. Did you watch it?
No, I wasn't a big boat race fan.
Honestly, it was brilliant. And the day that my most famous one was sitting, I was left out. Don't know why. I don't think my forum was good. Man City Fulham, and I decided fish supper. I'm not watching that game. Fish supper, round the corner, sat at the bench and watched the boat race. It was the best day of my life. Thinking I'm getting paid for this.
The best person involved in the boat race, the guy just sits at the front and just shouts at them.
Yeah,
roll. He does nothing. Takes all the credit. Nah, I've never really been into that.
Cambridge.
I'll go for Oxford then.
Right, for
I'm
a
more
coffee.
an Oxford man.
Right, for a coffee.
I'll go for a draw.
That would be quite something if it was just a complete dead heat draw. What would that? A replay or don't know? Get VAR involved maybe?
Oh no, don't get that involved.
Well, if the two boats sink, it's a swim to the line. Do you know that, Hugh? It's the first swimmer over the line.
I'm trying.
Do you know that?
No.
I just made that up. I thought it was a good read.
Where you get a fish supper, because I know that area well, and I don't recall any fish and chip shops.
Well, in Fulham, 1984.
Yeah.
Do you not remember Mario's round the corner?
No, I tended to.
Cod and chips was 2 and a tenner.
I just passed Fulham on my way to Wimbledon.
Right, we've been distracted already, haven't we? Already a third corner.
Who are they playing MK Dons?
Already a third corner for Rangers at Ibrox. In case we get any early action, let's do this, Hugh.
Yep.
The first half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Now, we know Hearts are all but nailed on to finish third in the league this season, but can you name the last 5 Scottish managers to finish third in the Scottish top flight? The last 5 Scottish managers to finish third in the Scottish top flight. Who were they?
I like that. You can see that written down at Clyde SSB. And remember, it is a race to get on the podium. You want to have all those answers in the one tweet. And tweet us at Clyde SSB. Fastest wins. The first 3 get on the podium. And just as well we got that out of the way, because we already have one of these.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
It's come at Pittodrie, and it's an early goal for managerless Aberdeen. They're 1-0 up against Ross County. It was a Miovski effort from close range, possibly could have gone down as an Aina own goal, but either way Aberdeen already have the lead at Pittodrie.
That just calms everyone down, I think. It's a real blow for Don Cowie and his Ross County players when you consider they've taken 650 fans to Pittodrie. Only 5,000 people live in Dingwall, so that's a fair chunk of the population who've gone there in support of their team. But Aberdeen must take immense confidence from that early start.
Definitely an own goal, Dave Galloway says, by Loic Aina, so it won't go down as a Bojan Miovski goal, but it won't really matter. Those are the types of things you need when there may be it's a bit of unrest, when a club is looking for a manager. Fans maybe aren't too happy about the situation, but if you can get an early goal, if you can win games, that will take a bit of the pressure off.
Not a bit. It takes a massive piece of the pressure off, especially the board and everyone concerned with the appointment of the new manager. They're just trying to build on their performance at Fir Park. They got a good result. International break. I read today my favourite player up there, terrific lad, terrific player, Shinnie, saying that, you know, if you've not got the sort of a strength to play with Aberdeen, you shouldn't be here. And I think he's right. I think that Aberdeen are a good side. They've got good players. They should be doing a lot better, but that is a very, very good start.
Is Peter even going to do a Barry Robson here?
No chance. No chance.
And will Dave Cormack fall for that again?
Well, do you know something, man? I've got an insider there, right? And he did tell me. No, and he did tell me that the players really like Peter Leaven, really have bought into him. They got a good result at Fir Park. They've got off to a terrific start today. Still a long way to go. I don't think they'll go down that road. I don't think they could afford to. But I think the players are really liking what he's producing just now.
Or is this Neil Warnock's ideas just coming to the fore?
Well, we did say the lads know what they're doing now, and that was just before Dundee beat them.
It's not one of our featured matches, but a big goal in the Championship. Dundee United 1-0 up against Wraith Rovers. Tony Watt scoring United in that game. That's an important goal, isn't it?
United haven't beaten Wraith this season, so again, wonderful in terms of their confidence. To go back to Peter Leaven, there's no way, with the greatest respect to the man, that Dave Cormack could take the decision to appoint Peter Leaven, because the Aberdeen fans would then say, I'm sorry, you've got no idea what you're doing here.
Yeah, not the best moment at Ibrox. Gabriel telling us that I think it was a free kick by Will Fish that he ended up smashing off of Joe Newell, who ended up down receiving treatment as well. I think he has managed to get up and walk it off, but not really the type of thing you want early in your match.
Not ideal, that. I did see a video on social media today. Did you see the physio? I know we shouldn't have laughed because it was a kid's game, but he tries to play a ball on. They've obviously lost the ball or something. Play a ball back onto the field. And
by the way, catches it well, rifles
catches
the ball.
It well. It's a great strike, but
hits one of his own players on the head who goes down, and then the physio gives himself extra work because he has to go on and give the guy treatment.
Great connection.
We've got one of these.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
St Johnstone 0, Dundee 1, and it is Lyle Cameron from 40 yards. Dimitar Mitov came out his box, headed it clear, but Lyle Cameron alert over the goalkeeper into the empty net, and Dundee have an early lead.
Not often I get things right, but I said Dundee to win because St Johnstone are rotten. And that's a wonderful early start for Tony Docherty. As I say, Hibs will get nothing at Ibrox, and if Tony Docherty gets a win at Perth, he'll leapfrog Hibs and go into the top 6.
He's been excellent, Cameron, you've got to say. Terrific young player. And by the sounds of it, I'm desperate to see this go 40 odd yards. Must have been a terrific.
Well, we saw one a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, for Louis Moore? I wonder how it compares to that. But Daz is right. Going forward, Dundee, really good players. Bakayoko, you've got Tiffany's actually doing well this season as well. Cameron, yeah, a lot of good forward-thinking players, and that's why they're getting so many good results this season.
Well, Roger's saying that the ball actually struck Mitov on the hand as well, but the referee played on, allowed the advantage to give Dundee the chance to score, essentially, with Mitov out of his goal. So advantage well played there by the referee. Lyle Cameron puts the ball in the net.
Not often referees get things right.
Well done, ref.
Well done, that man.
Yeah, because we're usually looking for reasons to chalk goals off or bring it back. Yeah, so well done.
So some good early action. Not too much happening at Ibrox so far. Not a whole lot happening. I'll tell you what, here is another goal as well.
Of course.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Hearts 1, Kilmarnock 0. He signed a permanent deal over the international break. Kenny Vargas is repaying Hearts already. He's put them 1-0 up. A close range header from a lovely cross by Lawrence Shankland.
You can't go too quickly though, because Kilmarnock are the shock specialists with the 2-goal disadvantage against St Mirren, and then in the space of 18 minutes Kelly scored 5 times. So well done to Vargas, and Hearts pushed the boat out. £500,000 for Hearts is quite a lot of money. So they've started well, but don't write off Kilmarnock.
He's another one that's having a good season.
Oh yeah,
second top goal scorer after Shankland. Is that what you said there? So he's definitely a threat. He knows where the back of the net is. I fancy Hearts big time today. I don't know why. I know that Kilmarnock had a terrific result against St Mirren, but it was at home, and I think Kilmarnock are a different team.
You don't know why. They're at home. They're 11 points ahead of Kelly, but you don't know why you fancy them.
They were at home. No, I was talking about St Mirren game. I just think that Hearts at Tynecastle just now, that third place probably cemented. Off to a great start. Big crowd there. I fancy them.
But there was a time this season Stephen Naismith was under real pressure as well. Hearts fans wanting them out. Don't often get the opportunity, young managers, to stick it out at a big club like Hearts and turn it round. But the Hearts fans are happy now where they've taken them.
I mean, it's happened a few times this season at different clubs that managers have been under pressure, and they've been stuck by clubs. Stuart Kettlewell, one of them, of course, as well. Who, I mean, it's a real outside shot of top 6. You wouldn't expect Motherwell to get it, but after that really poor run they had, they've managed to get a few results. I think a chance at Ibrox there, Scott Wright, a bit of a half volley that he drilled just wide of the post.
The pleasing thing about this afternoon is that we've got goals in 3 of our featured matches straight away after the international break, when people say players need time to pick up the pace of the game again and this, that and the other excuse. But 3 of our featured matches, Hearts a goal up, Aberdeen a goal up, Dundee a goal up, and you get the impression they're moving closer to an opener at Ibrox.
Well, Roger just saying there in the St Johnstone Dundee game that after what happened with Mitov and him coming out of his box and not clearing it properly and Dundee scoring, that a very similar situation happened at the other end not long afterwards. John McCracken came rushing out of his box but just decided to head it straight out of the park, I think helped by what had happened to Mitov before. No nonsense, just making sure that the ball is going nowhere near the opposition.
Well, of course, goalkeepers now look to play as much as they can. They're seen as an outfield player for a lot of teams. A keeper sweeper, super keeper.
Keeper sweeper.
Just stick to the basics. Some of them just stick to the basics. If you've not got it, stick to the basics.
That was ABBA, was it not? Keeper sweeper, keeper.
But your job's to keep the ball out of the net, and doesn't matter how you do it.
I think there is a VAR check going on at Fir Park between Motherwell and St Mirren for a handball by Theo Baer. No penalty though, a quick check on that one, so no penalty to St Mirren.
Well, that's the one game where you really aren't sure how that will go, but I just have a hunch that St Mirren, so aggravated by what happened to them at Rugby Park, will come out with a cause, and
Do you not think Motherwell need a cause because they lost their last one to Aberdeen at home?
Well, it's just more the manner of how St Mirren, collapsed. Sort of 18 minutes, conceded 5 goals. But Dermot O'Carroll, the assistant, was speaking this week saying that they're really happy with how they've performed generally this season. That they won't let 18 minutes define their season. They're assured enough in their ability.
It's the same scenario as last Friday when you see Scotland for 70 odd minutes and then they collapsed and could have lost more than 4. I totally agree with the assistant manager. I think it's sometimes you just got those odd games where you think, oh, this is our day, come on, get back in the game. They're on the front foot, they get the third goal, and then your team basically collapse. You've got to put that aside, move on to the next one. So that's a very, very good game ahead at Fir Park. I think we'll get goals there.
Speaking of, Dermot O'Carroll was speaking to him earlier on this week, of course, against Motherwell, a club he was a youth coach at. Said when he was the under-18s boss and Lennon Miller was coming through the academy and he was about 12 years old and he was genuinely wanting him to play for the under-18s. He was that good. And when he came up to train with the under-18s, they were having to tell him to rein it in a bit because he was sort of denting the confidence of some of the guys that were 4 or 5 years older than him.
Again, Lennon Miller can't be held by Motherwell. He's just too big a talent. The world is his oyster, and next season he'll be playing maybe not even in Scotland, maybe not even in England, but he'll be getting a big move shortly.
Yeah, he's a terrific player, isn't he? It happened to me in my young days, under 16s.
Yeah.
I was told to move down to the 12s. But he's such a talent, you've got to say, and he'll go further in Motherwell, let's be honest about that.
Well, St Mirren go close. They've hit the bar twice. Ryan Strain, a 20-yard free kick. The rebound came to Mikael Mandron, headed off the bar again. So St Mirren going close.
You can hear the calls at 5 o'clock. Kettlewell out.
Plenty of action,
Yeah, loads happening
the games
today. Ryan Strain is a big one back for St Mirren. He was a real shining light for them in the first half of the season. They maybe haven't quite been the same at times without him. Yes, he's been playing as a right wing back, but he's a real creative outlet at that right wing back spot, and St Mirren have tried a few different players in that position over the time that he's been out. Elvis Pomono has come in, Conor McMenamin's played there, a few other players as well, but I don't think anyone's really been able to sort of recreate the sort of creativity of Ryan Strain.
I don't think so, but listen, they've still been doing okay without him, but no doubt that's a big boost at this part of the season. When you've got the end in sight, you really want a big push. St Mirren done fantastic. You think the budget that comes with St Mirren, we speak about Dundee and teams lower down the division, but St Mirren, because they started so well and they've been in that kind of top 4, top 5 for so long, you just think, they're okay, but they're still up against it most weeks. So fair play, Stephen Robinson, a man that knows how to negotiate a place into that top 6.
A big chance for Rangers. Cyril Dessers cuts it back for Scott Wright, but cleared off the line.
Oh, well, as I say, you get the impression that they are inching closer towards the opening goal. Hibs have, they've lasted this far without looking damaged or upset by what happened the last time with the Rangers, but I'm afraid there's just a gap in quality between the two teams.
It's a game of patience this afternoon, Hugh. If you're at Ibrox, you've got to be a bit patient. Hibs will be organised, and they've got decent players middle to front. The first goal will be the most important one, but you just can't expect. I think that Celtic Rangers fans, every time they're at Ibrox or Celtic Park, they think that they're going to score in the first 15-20 minutes. Football doesn't work like that. Teams go there organised with a game plan, sit in deep, make sure that they don't give much space away, and it's up to the opposition to break them down. So I think it'll be a game of patience this afternoon for Rangers.
Those were the best days. See a sunny day at this end of the season. You get an early couple of well, just like this, you get an early couple of goals, full house, brilliant to play in. But quite the opposite effect when you lose one and you think, that pressure on my shoulders just get a wee bit heavier. Don't find well what's at stake.
Mark Wilson's had a real go at the teaser, but he's got 2 out of the 5. 3 of his 5 guesses are wrong.
Which one, Hugh, have we got right? This one?
Yep.
Okay. And
was that mine's?
Number what? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Was that wrong?
It does.
Well, there is going to be a VAR check at Ibrox for a potential penalty. John Souttar down after maybe being caught by an elbow. There's a goal elsewhere while we see what happens with that check.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Goals flying in everywhere. Motherwell 0, St Mirren 1. Marcus Fraser, a free header from a Greg Kiltie corner, and the away side have the lead at Fir Park.
Certainly was coming. You know, St Mirren piling on the pressure, and you've got to say they deserve that lead, so well done to them. Motherwell fans won't be happy with that start because hit the bar twice before that, so they really need to waken up, Motherwell.
Well, I think that the referee at Ibrox is going over to the monitor.
Well, that means it's a penalty then.
So it looks as if Rangers could have a penalty. It was John Souttar that was down. I think it looked as if he was maybe caught in the face by an arm or an elbow, something along those lines. So we'll see what the outcome of that is.
Willie Collins only won this season, I can recall, going to the monitor and saying, no, my decision was correct in the first place.
Penalty to Rangers. James Tavernier, you would expect, will have the chance to put Rangers 1-0 up against Hibs at Ibrox.
Yeah, that'll be...
Well, I said patience, and if Tavernier can stick this away, it certainly gives them the confidence to go on. And I think we all agree that, you know, you can't write off a team 100%, but just the importance of the game this afternoon at Ibrox, and if Tavernier can put this ball in the back end of it, I think Rangers are off and running for their 3 points.
I think, would that be a goal in every single one of our Premiership matches if Rangers put this one away already?
Yes, it would.
Good start to the action today. Of course, there is some interesting stories down the divisions as well. There's that Dundee United Wraith Rovers game. Dundee United 1-0 up in that one. There is the chance for Falkirk to win the league today. There is a chance for Stenhousemuir to win the league today as well. But at Ibrox, it will be James Tavernier to step up to take his penalty. I think his 450th Rangers appearance today. James Tavernier.
Well, he's been a marvel when you consider that he had 9 clubs before he joined Rangers, and has now had 9 years at Ibrox, and he is in the legendary status.
James Tavernier steps up, takes, saved, but
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Scott Wright puts the rebound in. Rangers do have the lead at Ibrox.
Well, amazing, the Tavernier, with the record he has from the penalty spot.
This one against Hibs a couple of weeks ago, didn't he? Lundstrom put it in.
And Mick Montgomery has that look on his face which says, when I get into the press room after this game, I don't think he's at all convinced by the award of the penalty in the first place.
Yeah, I'd be more interested in the fact that you've not learned from your lesson. If you're a Hibs defender, you're reacting. You're hoping your goalkeeper, who's got a terrific record of saving penalties in the past, saves it, and then you get in and clear it. You don't let Scott Wright get in front of you for a tap-in.
Yeah, how disappointed will Nick Montgomery be at that? Because that was the big warning sign, wasn't it?
Yeah,
a couple of weeks ago.
100%. And I don't understand why all of a sudden it's the same scenario. Tavernier takes it comes out, and Scott Wright's first to react to it.
Yeah, I think it's a poor penalty by James Tavernier by the sounds of it. It's sort of low down the middle. It's saved by the feet of David Marshall, but it sort of breaks out to the right side of the box. Scott Wright plays it back across goal, in off the post, and he gives Rangers the lead.
Yeah, well, it was going to be a big afternoon for Scott Wright. We mentioned him before the game. He held on to his place after the Benfica game, and he took some stick that night. Rangers fans not convinced by him.
Well, I'll tell you what, it might not stand because of encroachment, which Gabriel says is being checked by VAR at the moment. So we'll see whether this one stands or not.
We can't see, so we don't know.
If there's a way to rule goals out, they will find it.
Yeah.
No goal police, they don't like them in VAR.
Yeah, no lack of action. East Fife 1-0 up against Elgin City. Alan Troughton with the goal for them. Cove Rangers have, and still scoring goals as well. Alan Troughton, yep.
Seems just to be a bit forever.
Cove Rangers have equalised against Stirling Albion. Rumarn Burrell, who's been in fantastic form this season. Scott Wright's goal will not stand at Ibrox. Encroachment, so that goal doesn't stand.
Oh, well, that's a big miss for Rangers, especially a terrific time to score as well.
Was it a retake?
Yeah, I think it depends on.
Can't be a retake.
No,
Can't be a retake.
No, it's a Hibs ball, isn't it? It'll be a Hibs free kick.
Oh, hold on a minute. It's a retake. On you go. Have an hour go, Tav. You missed that one. Here, there's a ball again. Of course, it's not a retake.
If he missed and
Scott
Rangers
Wright
didn't score the rebound and it's a Hibs encroachment, then it could be retaken.
But it's Scott Wright's.
But because it's Scott Wright's encroachment.
Yes.
Yeah. If it's a Hibs encroachment and Rangers miss the penalty, then it can be retaken. But because it's a Rangers encroachment, it's Hibs ball.
Dazzler when football used to be simple.
I know, mate. I just used to score a penalty.
It's hard to keep up with it.
Yeah.
It's
I would score a penalty back to halfway line. Let's play on.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have all this nonsense.
So there we go. After all that, I'll just give you a recap of what the scores are. It's hard to keep up. Aberdeen 1-0 up against Ross County. Hearts 1-0 up against Kilmarnock. St Mirren 1-0 up against Motherwell. Dundee 1-0 up against St Johnstone. But goalless between Rangers and Hibs. Scott Wright scoring, but was encroaching from a James Tavernier penalty that was missed.
There must be players on the park who are saying, do you know what's happening? Have you any idea? What's the score?
In fairness, it does come up at Ibrox. It says VAR checking penalty kick, possible encroachment. So it does come up saying that at least. So they know what they're checking for, but it still can be very confusing for fans and even players at times.
The bottom line is it's a major let-off for Hibs, because they could have gone a goal down and I would have been ready to say, well, that's Ibrox finished and we can just concentrate on the other 4 games. But it's a let-off for Nick Montgomery and a possible lifeline for Hibs.
Alloa 1-0 up against Annan. Bobby Wales on loan from Kilmarnock has scored. He's in good form. Got another goal for them.
How are Clyde doing? That's the important one.
They're getting beat 1-0. Peterhead,
yeah,
yes.
Peterhead penalty.
I've got my firmly on that game, Hugh. Don't you worry about it. I'll let you know.
What's your interest in that one?
I just like Peterhead. I was talking about it the other day. The pitch is good.
By the way, it is good. Actually, up there, you get good food after it. They're very hospitable.
If anybody asks you, the best thing about Peterhead is a buffet on the way home.
Aye, it's good.
3 o'clock.
Are you talking food or liquid?
Both. In the bus, packed up. Team bus away, it's fantastic.
Speaking of Peterhead, they've just gone 2-0 up against Clyde, a Peter Pollitt penalty, and there has been another goal in the top flight.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Aberdeen 1, Ross County 1, an equaliser, and there's another one of these in the top flight.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
He missed his penalty a few moments ago, but makes no mistake with his volley. This time, James Tavernier puts Rangers 1-0 up at Ibrox.
Astonishing start for him to miss a penalty and then score in open play. And who equalised for Ross County, might I ask?
It was Simon Murray, a header at the back post. Dave Galloway saying a well-deserved equaliser. Ross County have looked good in that game after going a goal down.
Player Simon Murray has been for them.
He's been brilliant, hasn't he?
Oh, the goals he comes up with.
Do you know what I like about him? His work rate, Hugh. I really do admire that.
Are we not just saying that was not a compliment earlier on when you were talking about Fraser Wishart?
Well, but Simon Murray's got a wee bit in product and he's shown that today. I like the fact that someone like Simon Murray just goes out there and works for his side. You know, he works his socks off, so he's got his reward and a goal today, and that puts a little bit of pressure on Aberdeen. Let's see what they're all about. But I think you're right, Hugh. Going back to Tavernier, that disappointment of missing the penalty kick, and then he steps up, volley once again.
Yeah, how important is that? Because fans can maybe start to get on the back a wee bit if there is an incident like that when it's a penalty missed and then encroachment. But if you don't score soon after that or start creating more chances after that, and just with how tight the league title is, then it may start to get a bit nervous around the place.
Yeah, you're quite right. You can have a drama overkill if you're supporters. You know, they thought the penalty missed, and then Wright coming in to score on the rebound, they thought they were a goal up, then the encroachment drama, and now Tavernier has settled the place down again, because he's taken his goal exceptionally well. You just wonder, all of the drama has been in front of David Marshall. There's absolutely no drama anywhere near Jack Butland, so it seems like a long afternoon for Nick Montgomery and Hibs.
Yeah, it was a John Lundstrom cross from the left, headed up into the air by Will Fish. James Tavernier running onto it, caught it really well, and finishes to put Rangers ahead. It is Arbroath 0, Dunfermline Athletic 1, Ewan or 2 with the goal for them. I think they can move into the playoff places as well because of that Ayr win over Airdrie last night. I think Airdrie still have a couple of games in hand, but they'll certainly be happy if they can make an upwards move in the table.
Well, James McPake at Dunfermline was all over the place for a time, and he's staged some recovery with his team. They've come raging back into form, so looking good for them.
They were under pressure not that long ago.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
I think they made it. Was it Chris Kane that went to them up top, and then they got a few players back from injury, and what a difference.
Turnaround.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant.
Right, Hugh, I think we got completely distracted. We were about to do the teaser again and have a look at it, but so many goals have gone in that there's been a lot of excitement. So if you could just give us a reminder of that.
Quite simple. Can you tell me the last 5 Scottish managers to finish third in the Scottish top flight? The last handful of Scottish managers to finish third in the Scottish top flight.
Looking at some of the answers on Twitter, Fraser has said Stephen Robinson, which is wrong for obvious reasons.
Yes, he's a Northern Irish.
I had that. I didn't hear the Scottish bit. Hugh, sorry.
He has also said oh no, he hasn't. Jack has gone for Derek McInnes.
Dale is not there,
and has also gone for Craig Levine.
Nope.
You're joking.
Did you go for that as well?
Yeah, Steve Clark. He won.
Stop reading out the answers out loud. How long have you done this show for? At least it's not a Who Am I where you've just ruined the whole thing, but you've ruined one of them, so there's a free one for everyone out there.
He is one. Yes, thanks Andrew for confirming that.
And I thought, Steve Clark's one, yeah.
Literally every Saturday for how long have you done this show? And it's the same format, the first half teaser.
People might not have heard it. Just keep quiet.
People might not have heard you saying the words.
You've got an 8-second delay. Get the delay on.
Right, well, there's a free one for everyone on
That's
Twitter. We want to get the correct answers in. 5 of them at Clyde SSB. You can see them written down as well. Thank you very much for that,
thought
Gordon
the
Dalziel.
E in UEFA was for Europe.
Listen, don't you even
start. Still a touchy subject, Hugh. Don't bring it up.
Oh yeah, have you calmed down yet? I think that was one of the angriest I've heard you on this show.
And the reason being, right, Mexican and Mexico are not the same then, are they?
I do think the nuance in the question allows for it to be slightly different, because the answer...
Here's a wee Mexico guy, right? It's a Mexican.
I do think it's different, because the answer is exactly that word. In UEFA, the answer is exactly European. It's not Europe, it's European. Whereas I think with nationality, you know, Mexico, Mexican, there's a bit more of a broader spectrum. But when the answer is literally European, then...
You're a Scottish, you're not a Scotland, are you?
Yeah, but I think you allow for a bit more sort of, you know, license, don't you, for a question like that, Hugh?
Anyway, it's quite simple. The E in UEFA stands for European.
There we go. That's all that matters.
That's what I meant here. Right, that's exactly what I was saying.
But it's not what you said.
I said Europe, and I should have got that because I was moving on to the next question hastily. But I just don't like the way the rules are set out here. If you're a Mexican or Mexico, as simple as that. If we all abide by the same rules, I'm quite happy with it. If we don't, then obviously there's a problem.
Well, listen,
it's good to see it hasn't rattled you anyway. That's good.
Nick DeMarco's now finished with Brendan Rodgers, so you can phone
get
Nick
him on
DeMarco
a case, mate,
and get him on your legal team.
Yeah, get him there.
Fraser saying, Daz, 2 wrongs don't make a right.
Yes.
Tell Fraser.
Oh, he's on you. He's on you now, because you slaughtered him.
Mr. Tour the World Wizard.
Where does he go in the world, didn't he?
To be fair, he does explore. He does get some good trips in there.
Yeah, as I was touring the world.
Want to hear a word said against him? The PFA Scotland dinner's coming up soon, and
you're looking for your invite.
Oh yeah.
You love that, Hugh, don't you?
It looks after as well.
It's one of your favourites. Evenings.
I just need to find a driver to take me home. That's all.
Oh, you'll find one. Don't you worry about that.
So good action so far. And Fraser says the VIP invites are out this week.
Oh,
so he's telling Hugh and Mark to to look out.
Oh, I have no chance. Listen, I'm already taking that on board. I've absolutely no chance.
He says he hates them. Anyway, don't you? You said you're done with
Don't
them.
say I hate them. I love
You
them.
hate them.
I love the invite, everything about them.
He goes and he slaughters everybody in the room.
By the way, I like how Fraser's saying
slaughter
VIP invites out this week, so be nice to him, as if he's just forgetting that the other 51 weeks of the year when you stand here and slaughter him as well.
Listen, I don't. I'm very friendly with Fraser. I love him. But I've got to say, I know the boys will enjoy their night, crawlers, but unfortunately I don't get an invite to the VIP.
Kelty Hearts 1, Edinburgh City 1. Alfie Bavidge with the goal for the home side in that game.
Michael McIndoe is the Edinburgh City manager, you know.
Is this you just showing off your knowledge from midweek?
I said last night I didn't know who the Edinburgh City manager was, but I had named the one who brought them into the SPFL, and Mark Wilson told me who the manager of Edinburgh City, Michael McIndoe.
No, he didn't. Andrew told you.
Andrew.
Was it Andrew?
Yeah, but I'll take the credit though. Yeah, Michael McIndoe. Yeah, but an outstanding shout, Hugh.
It was
last night. Got to give you credit.
It was a terrible week too.
Oh, I heard.
Why? What's been happening?
I can't believe you go to people without phoning me first.
What's happened?
You know I get everything.
The shower packed in and the fridge freezer packed in.
Oh,
in the space of 48 hours. A man came out.
That sounds like money that you would not want to pay out, Hugh.
A man came out, opened the door of the fridge, and I've said, "Can you fix it?" He said, "No, absolutely not." Closed the door and charged me £95.
Buy a new door.
95 quid. What, just for a call out charge?
Call out charge, 95.
That's outrageous. Oh, did you pay him?
What other option did I have?
Say no. I've called you to fix it.
Maybe he just looked around your palace, Hugh, and thought, this guy can afford this. You know, I can bump up the price a wee bit.
That's Bears Den prices.
I get my jam jar out. Right, pound coins. That's 1, 2,
95 quid. So it's still broken.
The new one's coming in Thursday.
Oh,
I hope you get a good deal because I'm your man.
Oh, yeah, actually, you have. You're the man for fridge
contacts
freezers.
And everything, man. You need anything, come to Dazzler. He'll sort you out.
What happened to all the food, Hugh? Did it defrost and chucked in the bin?
Hopeless,
Or did you just cook it on the winner?
No,
a big stew with just whatever in it.
Fish fingers, sausages, get on.
That was a total disaster. I've had to buy the new fridge freezer, I've had the £95 call out fee, and I've had to get the shower fixed.
If you think Hugh's in a bad mood normally, just imagine what he's like today.
Was he sure a dear one?
But the
dear enough
young guy came in very, very efficient.
I bet the guy
fix
it. 95 quid.
The same guy for the fridge. He just goes in and changes his van about.
What was up with the shower?
It started to
water come out it.
It was leaking.
It had to be sealed, put it that way.
Oh, that's an easy
disaster, that is.
I know. All the same week. I took mourning to an Olympic level.
That is.
I would have paid money to be there to see that 95 quid getting handed over.
And having to do a bit of maintenance. I was saying to the guys, I've birds nesting in the eaves of my house. So for the last couple of years I've been there, but the mess that they make.
Yeah.
So this is a year want to get rid of the nests, and you need to do it before they come. I got to go. It's 800 quid.
What?
To get away there. I said I'll just go up and I'll just go up and do it with a chisel.
I'll get rid of your birds for 500.
Arbroath 0, Dunfermline Athletic 2. Paul Allen with the goal to put them 2-0 up. Cove Rangers have turned it around against Stirling Albion. Josh Kerr with the goal to put them 2-1 up as well. The natives are getting restless at a couple of places, I'm being told.
Would one be Pittodrie?
Pittodrie is one of them, and
Fir
the other
Park.
one I gave away there.
Fir Park,
as well.
I thought so, because they don't stand for results like that. But St Mirren, we'll say again, have been good this season, so maybe that one is to be expected. Actually, it was to be expected. I circled St Mirren for an away victory there.
If Ross County get a second, it'll be sacked the board time. That's the double whammy for Aberdeen. You know, it's 1-1, tension is mounting, and the fans at the back of their minds are saying, why don't we have a manager 3 weeks after Neil Warnock left?
Yeah, there have been chances for both Ross County and St Mirren, the two away teams in those games, so that's why the fans are getting a slightly restless.
Well, more restless still the longer the game goes on. You can't have a situation where Aberdeen are in a playoff to stay in the division. That would just be scandalous given the budgets and what have you.
Could you imagine potential for a playoff final between Aberdeen and Dundee United?
Oh, how wonderful would that be?
Dundee United leading Wraith Rovers, of course, today, so that would be a big win for them if they could stay in front.
I remember the last time Aberdeen were in a playoff against Dunfermline many years ago, and full house, Pittodrie and East End Park, and they got out of the bother they got themselves into. But for a club of Aberdeen's size to be in this position is simply not on in the eyes of the fans.
Has gone a bit quiet at Ibrox since they got that opener. James Tavernier scoring after missing an earlier penalty. Scott Wright's rebound went in, but he had adjudged to have encroached, so that one didn't count. But Rangers 1-0 up. Plenty of goals happening around the place. Gabriel saying quite an open game at Ibrox, but no real chances in the past few minutes.
Well, the Rangers fans can't assume 1-0 is a precarious lead. You really have to get that second goal, not before half time, but the second goal just calms everyone down.
Yeah, without doubt. It was always going to be an open game. Anytime Hibs play anybody, it's an open game. And my worry was with Hibs this afternoon, Bashiri and Fish together.
You don't fancy them, do you?
Listen, I think it's evident every single week, or most weeks, when I watch the highlights of Hibs, they give up chances like no other defensive partnership in the league.
Yeah.
And when you go to Ibrox and you're slack like that, you're always going to get punished. And I don't know if the goal came about because of them today, but there's no doubt they'll give up chances.
There's also Nectar Triantis, who didn't have the best start to things when he first came in. I think had a poor game against St Mirren first of all, and then gave away a penalty against Celtic. He's been moved into midfield now, but he was the one that gave away the penalty again today. He's maybe still finding his feet at Hibs.
Well, when you have Will Fish first of all striking one of his own players with a stray pass, you get a feeling that all is not going well. But Hibs, they flatter to deceive for me. They've got decent players, but it never adds up to a decent team.
Yeah, just looking down the divisions at the moment, Falkirk are the later game today. Could clinch the title without playing, though, if Hamilton drop points. Yep.
Imagine that'd be your worst nightmare as a player, winning a title in Montrose. I'd be like, boys, we'll get beat. We'll look at next week. We're at home behind the wall for a party.
You'll get the bonus though right away.
No, wait, you've got to get the party. The party's all set up here. I've been in that situation when the championship. Our party was set up 3 weeks prior. We picked today exactly where we were going. At home. Always won the championship at home. Right out.
But you managed to manipulate winning the championship at home.
Yeah, they just says to me, look, just score one, get a draw. Right, next week.
The authorities are listening just now.
To live
exactly.
I need to watch what I'm saying.
Dad's not be here for the second half. Huckled it.
How long is the statute of limitations on that type of thing?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully not endless. But yeah, Falkirk can clinch the title and promotion should they pick up 3 points. But I think if Hamilton don't win against Queen of the South this afternoon, then Falkirk will win the title without even playing this afternoon. Stenhousemuir could also secure the League 2 title if they beat Dumbarton, and Peterhead drop points to Clyde. But Peterhead are comfortably ahead against Clyde at the moment.
How is our big friend of the show doing at Hamilton today? Is he still 0-0?
Still 0-0. I've not seen any goals go in there at the moment.
You thought he was in there shout,
still
didn't
0-0.
Do you know something? I had a little sneaky for him today to win that. I know that he was under a little bit of pressure. Hadn't won a few games, but he got a good result last week against the odds for me. I think maybe just that we turned the corner for him. Bit of encouragement. Going to Hamilton today, I thought they were worth a little look today.
Partick Thistle 1, Inverness 0. Scott Robinson scoring to put Mark Wilson's side ahead.
Yeah,
or Mark Wilson's employers. That made it sound like you were in charge of the first team there. Steady on.
But three of the kids on the bench today, 3 to 18, so good. Chris Doolan, giving youth a chance.
So you are taking a wee bit of credit for this.
I hope one of them get on at least. That would be great for them.
Tell you what a struggle that must have been for Brian Mclean today to get that strip over that suit.
Brian Mclean?
Would he?
Brian McLean.
Well,
His
Graham.
name's
sorry.
Graham.
You're thinking of Brian Mclean, is who you're thinking of, yeah?
Sorry,
You've ruined it. You've ruined the joke
He
now.
looked $1 million last
liked
week.
the suit, didn't
do,
he?
do you know what was my favourite bit of the full thing? I sat and watched it. A very entertaining afternoon, I've got to say, and I thought the young girls who part it were terrific. But what really made my day was I look at different things, not tactics. He's standing there, Brian Graham, beautifully dressed, and then he decides to show off the waistcoat and take the jacket off, and now it's freezing, right? And I thought, well played. He's
getting every inch of the suit.
Televised. Well played. Good crease in the shirt.
He scrubs up well, doesn't he?
Oh,
The
yes.
big man.
Oh yeah.
Right, Hugh, should we round this off? Because I
Why
think the
not?
half-time whistles are going to go soon.
The first half teaser.
With the ScottishSun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
The last 5 Scottish managers to finish third in the Scottish top flight were Barry Robson at Aberdeen, seems a long way now, Robbie Neilson at Hearts, Jack Ross at Hibs, Steve Clark at Kilmarnock, and John Yogi Hughes at Inverness. Cali Thistle.
No way.
What was that one you got, Steve Clark? The one you shouted out on air in front of
The
everyone?
only one we never got was Mike's captain, Big Yogi. Forgot about him.
Oh, well, there were people out there that got all 5. In third place, Dave Curwen. In second place, Token Jester. But in first place, Charlie Blair was quicker than everyone. So well done to you, and make sure to get involved for the second half teaser as well, which of course will be the Who Am I that we normally do.
How quickly
Who
football
did you say
changes.
John Hughes with?
Inverness, Cali Thistle.
Finished third.
Ahead of Derek McInnes.
Don't look at me.
Did he? Derek McInnes finished third way.
Who wrote the question? David
Aberdeen.
Robertson.
Oh, Hugh, of course, it's Hugh's teaser.
Oh, sorry.
This guy's had problems all week,
Go
Andrew.
for it.
I wouldn't trust him waiting.
Yeah, Hugh. He went, don't ask me.
Ruining the illusion there, Hugh.
I thought Derek McInnes would have been in there with Aberdeen third.
We will fact check that.
I don't
But
doubt
yeah,
you,
yeah,
Hugh.
it's
Well, I do
true.
doubt you,
Apparently,
but-
it's true.
Okay.
I'm getting the nod from Hugh, of course.
Well, look at that. Barry Robson at Aberdeen, sacked. Robbie Neilson, Hearts, out, now in America. Jack Ross, sacked. Now down south. John Hughes, sacked, no longer in the game. I don't know what happened to Steve Clark. I don't know where he went after that.
It's the only thing certain, isn't it, in football
Doesn't win
management?
his
You're
next
getting the
game, he
sack
can
somewhere.
shout sacked.
You're getting the sack wherever you go. Exactly. That's the thing. Steve Clark, after everything he's built, there's possibility of a time coming that he will lose his job unless he does something remarkable. It's just the nature of the beast. Yet people want to get back into it time and time again.
You're right, Mark. Every manager, that's what they say. You don't really become a manager until you're sacked. It helps if you've got a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
But it's all about learning this game, especially the management game.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Rangers 1, Hibs 1, an equaliser at Ibrox. 7 minutes were added a few moments ago, and it is a goal for Mailida. It was a counter-attack. Ewan cut the ball across to him, and Mayazine Mailida equalises for the visitors.
Well,
didn't see that coming, Hugh, did we?
Nope. Ibrox will be a flutter when we join Gabriel. The Rangers fans, as I say, they've had a drama overkill today. They've had a penalty missed by Tavernier, the rebound taken by Scott Wright, then that rebound ruled out because of encroachment, and then Tavernier coming up with a terrific goal to make it 1-0. But no one saw this coming. No one in this studio, that's for sure.
Well, that's the thing with Hibs, though. They're the highest scorers outside Celtic and Rangers, so they've always got that in them, you know. But the opposite end, they will ship goals, but they've got players, good players, mentioned it earlier, that can cut defences open at the top end of the pitch. So that's an interesting one right before half time.
Just to settle that, Derek McInnes won. His last 5 finishes in the Scottish top flight are second, fourth and fourth. So no third places
right,
in
okay.
there, but either side of it. We do have a half time at Pittodrie. Dave Galloway.
Half-time, Aberdeen 1, Ross County 1, and it was a strong start by Aberdeen. Bojan Majowski's shot after a lovely pass by Connor Barron. George Wickens superbly tossed it round the post, but the flag was up. They took a 5th-minute lead. Junior Hoylett fed Majowski, and his trundling effort from a tight angle was adjudged to have already crossed the line before the covering defender appeared to make a bit of a hash of things and knock the ball in himself. But County responded very well indeed. Josh Reed's low hard shot was well parried by Kellaroos, and they deservedly equalised after 26 minutes. Simon Murray heading in at the back post following a corner kick from the far side. Dreadful defending though. Michel Effetti then seemed to have missed an absolute sitter for the visitors, blasting over from 6 yards. His blushes though were spared as the flag had gone up. The Staggies playing some very nice stuff, knocking the ball about extremely well, much to the frustration of the large home support in a crowd of over 17,000. Bojan Majowski tried to improve things with a curling effort from inside the box, but it was too high. The Staggies have been the better team quite clearly in this first half, ahead by some distance. Boos greeting the blast of the referee's half-time whistle. A very interesting second 45 indeed lies ahead here at Pittodrie at the interval. Aberdeen 1, Ross County 1.
David Friel has the half-time picture at Tynecastle.
Yeah, half-time, Andrew, Hearts 1, Kilmarnock 0. A really good game, Hearts ahead, but Derek McInnes must be wondering how Kelly haven't scored here. Kenneth Vargas put Hearts ahead days after agreeing that permanent deal with the club, but Kelly have missed 3 big-headed chances. I don't know how they've not scored and are still in this game. Kelly started better. Marley Watkins, the header save. Danny Armstrong was unlucky with a chip. Hearts settled after that, grabbed the opener in 10 minutes. Long Shankland's been everywhere and involved so much. He got the ball wide in the box and clipped a perfect cross to the back post. Kenneth Vargas able to head in from 2 yards. George Grant, Lon Shanklin, both his shots saved by Will Dennis. Hearts looked for a second, but Kelly have always carried a threat and should have been level in 27 minutes. Matty Kennedy free kick was perfect for the unmarked Stuart Finlay. He somehow headed wide. Shanklin came close again, but Kelly then almost levelled on the stroke of half time when Joe Wright headed over again. Don't know how he didn't hit the target. And then just before half time, Marley Watkins 6 yards out, denied by a wonder save from Xander Clark. Hearts ahead, but plenty of life left in this one. Half time, Hearts 1, Kilmarnock 0.
It's also half-time in Perth, Roger Hannah.
It's St Johnstone 0, Dundee 1 at the break, Andrew. It's feisty, it's a real Tayside derby, and it's Dundee ahead with an incredible goal after just 6 minutes from Lyle Cameron. They could have been ahead inside 20 seconds, straight from the kick-off. They push forward. Scott Tiffany having a shot blocked in the Saints box. Luke McCown threatened next after 5 minutes, firing just over from 20 yards, while slightly off balance, but he did make the breakthrough in bizarre circumstances after 6 minutes. Dimitar Mitov came racing out of his box to try and win the ball as Tiffany ran through it. He got ahead to it. It fell for Amadou Bakayoko. It seemed then to strike Mitov in the hand. But referee Ian Snedden, just his 3rd Premiership game, gave the advantage to Dundee. He saw Lyle Cameron was ready to try his luck from 40 yards, and what a lob over the last St Johnstone defenders and into the unguarded net for the opening goal. Just moments later at the other end, a very similar incident. John McCracken coming out the Dundee box, this time to win a header, but he put the ball out of play. McCracken then involved in more controversy. The next ball forward he took just inside his box. He looked to lift his right leg. It caught Adama Sidibe. The referee waved play on. St Johnstone players demanding a penalty, but VAR Greg Aiken backed up Snedden with that decision. St Johnstone then temporarily down to 10 men. Captain Liam Gordon off after a clash of heads left him with blood streaming from a wound. And St Johnstone, as the game grew on, they grew into it. Tony Gallagher threatening. He had a shot pushed away for a corner by McCracken. Then a great diving save by the Dundee goalkeeper to deny David Kjeltens from all of 25 yards. Max Kusharai, he was booked for a high boot that caught Mo Salah in the head. Kjeltens was next to go into referee Snedden's notebook. And St Johnstone might think they could be level. A chance for Nicky Clark before the break. Sidibe making progress down the right, cutting the ball back for his strike partner, and he fired across the face and just inches the wrong side of the post. Still all to play for Craig Levine's men in the second half. It is St Johnstone 0, Dundee 1.
Well, before we go to Fir Park, there has been another goal at Ibrox.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
It wasn't level for long. Rangers 2, Hibs 1. Cyril Dessers with the header. With not long to go in that one, Rangers are ahead. Let's go to Fir Park, the half-time story with Fraser Wisher.
Yes, Motherwell 0, St Mirren 1. A good game to watch, actually. Pretty open. Saints deservedly ahead through a Marcus Fraser header. They also hit the bar twice and missed a couple of good chances. But it's actually Motherwell fans getting a bit restless. But the team started well but lost their way as Saints took control. As I said, the home side pushed Saints back in the early stages. Only 3 minutes gone, a decent chance. Theo Bair inside right position, found a bit of space in the box, and he pulled his shot across goal and wide. He should have at least hit the target. A minute later, George Gent broke free. Lovely ball by Spittle, sent the fullback galloping down the left hand side. He was so far ahead, he had nobody to cross to, so he chose to hit a low shot on a real tight angle, and it was a good effort because it took a touch from Hemming onto the post to get the ball away, and the ball was cleared by James Bolton. 10 minutes for St Mirren to threaten the goal. Really good save by Liam Kelly, kept it at 0-0. Olisanya was too strong for George Gent inside the penalty box. He had a low shot in the turn. Good save by the keeper's legs. Ryan Strange's follow-up bounced off a few defenders but ended up in Kelly's hands. A couple of minutes later, Saints hit the bar twice in quick succession. Ryan Strange with a 20-yard free kick up and over the wall. It hit the bar, rebounded high into the air, and Mikael Mandron was highest to jump to get his head to the rebound, but once again it hit the bar and was cleared by the Motherwell defence. In 18 minutes, no surprise when Saints took the lead. Kiltie with an in-swinging corner from the left. I think it was Stephen O'Donnell, maybe just the slightest of touches at the front post, and almost just hit Marcus Fraser. I'm not sure how much he knew about it, 6 yards out, but he won't care. The ball ended up in the back of the net. Blow for Saints, 29 minutes. Bolton came off injured, and on came Richard Taylor. That didn't break St Mirren's stride. 34 minutes, good chance to make it 2-0. A strained cross made its way all the way to Scott Tanser on the back post. He had plenty of time to steady himself, and he did so, but mishit his shot and went over the bar to a few boos from the Motherwell supporters. Motherwell hadn't threatened the Hemmings goal for quite some time, but as we headed to the break, Halliday had a snapshot deflected over the bar, and Bair headed that corner over the bar from 8 yards. But overall, Saints unable to get past the back three of Motherwell unable to get back the back three of St Mirren, because there's 3.5 games this season between the two teams. Motherwell have yet to score, but they need at least one, obviously, to get anything from this game. But that would be difficult. St Mirren playing really well. Half time at Fir Park, Motherwell 0, St Mirren 1.
And it's half time at Ibrox. Gabriel has the story.
Yes, it is, Andrew. Half time, and it's Rangers 2, Hibernian 1. Wow, what a dramatic first half of football that was. James Tavernier's volley finish on his 450th appearance looked set to be the difference at the interval after a missed penalty and a disallowed goal for the hosts. But Maitiane Mailida poked home to draw things level in stoppage time before Cyril Dessers headed in the 52nd minute of the first half to restore the advantage. Now the game started Rangers with 3 corners in the first 4 minutes, a sign of things to come. And then in the 20-minute mark, there was a calamitous spell for the visiting defence. First, Hibs cleared the ball off the line after a golden chance of Scott Wright, where he looked set to score. And a minute later, Rangers defender John Suter was elbowed in the face from a corner. Referee David Dickinson pointed to the spot after consulting the VAR monitor. And up stepped Captain Tavernier, usually so assured from the spot. But it was a poor attempt, right down the middle, and easy enough for David Marshall to parry away. And there was Scott Wright again to pounce on the rebound. A lovely finish from the inside of the woodwork, and it was 1-0. But hold on, the game was not restarted, and we were not sure exactly why. On the big screen to my left in front of me, it said possible encroachment. Turned out it was a Rangers player who had caused the infringement, so no goal. A lifeline for Hibs, but no. Tavernier eventually made it 1-0 just a minute later with a thunderous volley, and there was no stopping that on the line, despite Hibs' best efforts. And what a 5 minutes that was, Andrew. Rangers were in charge and on course for the top of the table, but that changed in stoppage time. One of the first dangerous attacks from Hibernian of the game, Eli Yuan on the right, cuts the ball across to Mailida, who calmly took a touch and just poked it past Shaq Butland. Ibrox stunned, silenced, and it looked set to be a nervy second 45 here. But no, in the 7th minute of added time, Cyril Dessers changed all of that. A great ball in from the right from Todd Cantwell. Dessers in off the underside of the crossbar. What a half. This game is far from done yet, though, and expect more drama in the next 45 in what looks set to be a huge day in the title race. Half time at Ibrox, Rangers 2, Hibernian 1.
Well, what a first half of football all across Scotland. Let's take a breath and I'll give you the full picture after this.
The fastest goals, the expert opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
A busy first half of action across Scotland. Let's give you the half-time scores. Aberdeen 1, Ross County 1, Hearts 1, Kilmarnock 0, Motherwell 0, St Mirren 1, Rangers 2, Hibernian 1, St Johnstone 0, Dundee 1. Into the Scottish Championship, Arbroath 0, Dunfermline 3, Dundee United 1, Wraith Rovers 0, Morton 0, Queen's Park 0, Partick Thistle 1, Inverness 0. In League 1, it's Alloa 1, Annan 1, Cove Rangers 2, Stirling Albion 1, Hamilton 0, Queen of the South 0, Kelty Hearts 1, Edinburgh City 1. Montrose and Falkirk played later on. 5:30 kick-off. Falkirk could potentially clinch the title. Dumbarton 0, Stenhousemuir 0. In League 2, East Fife 1, Elgin 0, Peterhead 2, Clyde 0, Spartans 0, Forfar 0, Stranraer 0, and Bonnyrigg Rose 0 as well. Look at the English Premier League as well. The early kick-off was Newcastle 4, West Ham 3. In the 3 o'clock games at half-time, it's Bournemouth 0, Everton 0, Chelsea 1, Burnley 0, Nottingham Forest 0, Crystal Palace 1, Sheffield United 0, Fulham 0, Tottenham 0, Luton 1. Let's get the second half underway next.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Second half's coming up soon around Scotland. Plenty of action across all the divisions. Been an exciting game so far. I think back underway between Motherwell and St Mirren. Back underway between Aberdeen and Ross County as well. Certainly a change for Ross County. Jordan White on for Sims. For them, there is a change for St Mirren as well. Elvis Buomono has come on for Ryan Strain. They'll be hoping that that's not an injury for Ryan Strain. Just
after we were chatting about him.
Yeah, first time back after a long time out. Maybe they've just thought he's done his job. He's done well so far in that game. Maybe it's just precautionary.
That'd be your ideal gig. Done your job, 45 minutes, off you come.
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah.
You wouldn't even stay in the stadium, would you, to watch the rest of the game? You'd be straight down the road.
Motherwell, I'd been in the house before the lads even were 15 minutes into the second half. Simple and straightforward as that. There's no loyalty in my camp, Andrew. You've got to understand that.
Football we're talking about, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Right, let's go back to Ibrox. Gabriel, how has the reaction been from the supporters? Because there's been a lot of drama so far.
Yeah, it certainly has, Andrew. That's to underplay it. The supporters were stunned, to be honest, when Maya Leader poked that ball home in the 47th minute, just because it looked like it was all going to plan. They were in control of the game. Yes, it was fairly end-to-end, but Hibs hadn't had any big chances. Jack Butland had literally nothing to do, and then suddenly it was 1-1. And you're getting flashbacks to the last two games here at Ibrox, where they lost to Benfica when it was tight. They lost to Motherwell for the first time under Philippe Clement here. But that goal from Cyril Dess has just lifted the mood again. I've got to say, what a ball it was in from Todd Cantwell on the right-hand side. First time whipped across in front of all of those Hibs defenders and headed in off the underside of the bar. So listen, smiles on people's faces still here. They look like they're heading back to the top of the league, but Andrew, if we've got anything like that first half, there's going to be plenty more drama here.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. From apprenticeships to pharmacy managers, start your career with them today.
Hopefully as exciting a second half as we got in the first halves across all of those games. Remember, there can be a couple of titles won today, potentially. Falkirk could win the title if Queen's Park take points off of Hamilton, the 3 o'clock games, or if they just win their later 5:30 kick-off. Stenhousemuir would need a favour in the game between Peterhead and Clyde, but Peterhead 2-0 up, so maybe it looks as if Stenhousemuir might need to wait a while. That big game in the Championship as well. There is a goal for Dundee United. They are still 1-0 up against Wraith Rovers, and lots happening in the top flight as well, so we'll see how that all unfolds. An early goal, I was going to say an early goal in the second half for Kelty Hearts, but forgetting the VAR stoppages we have in the Premiership, it's probably about 6 or 7 minutes into that game. Kelty 2-1 up now against Edinburgh City. Alfie Bavidge with his second goal of the game.
I think the important thing for Rangers and the fans and Philippe Clement is that the team are showing the iron will that they will need to have over the 9 games remaining for them to go, you think, in front from the penalty spot. Tavernier misses, Wright scores from the rebound, but it's chalked off for encroachment. That's enough to get the heart ticking, but Tavernier then puts Rangers 1 up with a decent volley, and you think that they will go on to dominate the match. Hibs get a surprise equaliser, as Gabriel said. It silenced Ibrox, but that's when the iron will comes in. They found the time, they found the terrific cross from Cantwell, and Dessers may need 5 chances to score one time, but he took it, and it's 2-1, and a big 45 minutes now awaits.
You said it before the game, Mark, that at this point in the campaign, when it is a clean run now to the end of the season, that mentality is the biggest thing. Being able to respond so quickly, Hibs scoring, in injury time it was, and Rangers not hanging about, making sure that they get that goal before half time to put themselves back ahead must be big.
Oh, without doubt, huge, because it does change the team talk if you go in 1-1, of course, but it's difficult when you concede a goal right at the end of the half, when you've been the dominant team and you think, oh, is this going to be one of these days where we're going to slip up? But fair play to them. We've seen some of the action or some of the big moments from the first half, and it's been fairly lively, fairly contentious, but no doubt about it, Dessers' goal, what makes it 2-1, was a good one.
Let's hope Gorodn Dalziel doesn't ruin this.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played alongside Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Jackie McNamara. I have been managed by Paul Dickov and Mark McGee. I have scored in European competition, and I won a league title in England. Who am I? Played alongside Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Jackie McNamara, managed by Paul Dickov and Mark McGee, scored in a European competition, and I won a league title in England. Who am I?
I like it. At Clyde SSB, you can see that written down. Of course, there is a lot of information in these second half teasers, so you can see it written down, and that is where you tweet us. Fastest wins at Clyde SSB. Simple for you at home. All you need to do is tweet us one answer in one tweet. That is it. Simple for you guys in the studio. Don't say the answer live on air.
I don't think we'll get that answer.
Our lips are sealed.
I don't think we'll get it.
And you're not getting the help that you used to get.
That's a tough
one. Are you finding it tougher now?
I'm not. Well, I think you'll find that if I do know the answer and now I don't, it will be a bit tougher.
That's a good point. Good starting point.
Cheating always helps.
Always makes it easier.
Yeah.
For all the kids out there listening in, cheating always helps.
Cheaters
think
always
exams
win.
coming up.
Yeah.
Do you get invited to many schools to do talks? Career talks?
Motivation talks for the young kids, yes. Well, you just see the fact that I've come out of DL High School in Motherwell, and I'm a role model now for Motherwell.
See, talking about cheating, right, and stuff, my boy did his theory test last week for driving. He said it was unbelievable kind of security going in, checking everything. Of course, then I was thinking, why is it so strict? But because technology's come on so much, checking his watch, making him switch off his phone, take it off him.
What for?
Well, in
so
case
that you don't cheat.
You don't cheat.
You can look up answers.
But remember when we did our theory test?
Were you thinking the practical test?
I'm going, what's he switched his watch off for?
That would be bad, doing your practical test and all of a sudden you're on your phone.
Yeah.
Could
you hold on a minute, sir? I've just got to take that. She wants to know when I'll be going to go home. On our day, it was you done your test, then pulled over at the side, 4 questions.
Is that it? Is that what you got in your day? 4 questions?
4 questions, yeah.
No, I had to do that.
What does that mean, highway right, where a circle was 70 on
after you did your practical, you did the 4 questions.
4 questions, yeah. Pulled up to
that would be bad. See if you then failed on the questions. You've done the practical bit fine, and then you get the questions.
I failed my first. Right, because it was
on the practical or the theory.
Big rig circle 70. I was like, I don't know that one, mate. so I passed second. But in our day, it was 30 minutes out on the road and 4 or 5 questions. There you go, sir. Thank you very much. Enjoy your time.
I sat my test, and he brought out. Yes.
Did you do any lessons before it?
He brought out the questions, and I said, "Listen, sir, don't bother with that." Because I knew that the test had been an unqualified, unmitigated disaster.
Yeah, you were sitting in the back.
And I said, I have only one thing to say to you. I hope this has not been a career-changing moment for you. I get out the car, close the door.
Genuinely, it was that bad?
Oh yeah, shocking.
What was so bad about it?
We came out of the test centre. He said, turn right, I turned left.
That's not a good start.
Stalled the car in a busy street.
Oh, you're allowed to stall, Hugh. Everybody, Lewis Hamilton stalls a car. You're not feeling that.
I reversed and hit.
That'll do it for you.
Maybe that's a game changer.
Maybe lead with that one.
Aye. Don't say a human. What did you hit?
No, I hit a street light.
Oh,
and he wasn't out of the car park yet.
And as I say, he brought out the questions, and I said, just let me say to you, don't bother with that.
So what age were you?
I'd be mid-20s.
Do you know something?
And had you ever got behind a wheel ever again after that?
I went to my first newspaper, and they had cars in the garage, which reporters just went out, signed for a car, and away they went. And they also put you through your driving test. So I went through, and it was an unmitigated disaster.
What astonishes me about that story, Hugh, is not the fact that you say to the lad, don't even bother pulling the questions out. I want to know what was in his head after hearing that, why he's even pulling the questions out. Because it doesn't matter if you get them all right, you're no passing.
Well, I suppose there's a procedure that they have to follow.
Yeah.
But I just said, I hope this has not been a career-changing moment for you.
And never ever again, eh? Is it not a regret that you've never...
No.
You're the only person I know in the world that doesn't drive.
See, I think, walking is a great form of exercise.
But you don't walk. You
just get lifts from everyone.
No,
that's all right. That's only on working days.
What about cycling? You never take up cycling?
No.
Can you imagine having a bike? Seriously.
Well, I can't. That's why I'm asking.
Skateboarding, maybe rollerblading.
I love when they come in with the blades on.
Has been a quick start for Rangers in the second half. There was a Todd Cantwell strike that was deflected wide for a corner. John Lundstrom then smashed one that flew past the post after another deflection. Then a good save by David Marshall to deny Cyril Dessers a second headed goal of the afternoon. So Rangers really in the hunt for their third goal to try and put this game out of sight.
Well, as I said, they've shown the iron will to come back from a shock equaliser and all of the other things that happened to them in the first half. And now they're going for the jugular.
Yeah, the next goal's so important. Hibs will feel confident that they can get back in it. They've already scored. But if Rangers get the third, then you would safely say that it's over to Celtic tomorrow at Livingston.
Yeah, the game's never dead when it's 2-1, but a good start, exactly what the crowd want to see. Of course it's going to be edgy, when the pressure's on. It's going to remain the same until the end of the season, really. I said on Thursday night, it's about results, not about performance. If you can get both, brilliant, but how much pressure lies on the shoulders of the players? There's that bit of tension within their play sometimes. I don't think you're going to get a free-flowing 90-minute performance anytime soon from each of them. So results are key, and Rangers are in the driving seat at the minute, but still a dangerous score.
Don't mention driving seat.
Driving seat. Aye. Mine's was a much simpler thing. I took.
Did you go first
15,
time, mate?
Well, aye, first time. No marks on my sheet. Clean sheet. The guy was a Dundee United fan.
Yeah.
Right enough, and I was pretty basic. Done my theory, and then you had to read the.
How did you know the guy was a Dundee United fan?
Because we spoke about Dundee United the full way.
That's ridiculous.
Aye.
This is true, right? When I passed my test and the lad signed it, it was Jai Gregg.
Oh,
I'll never forget that. I thought, he's a Rangers manager and he's taking me out here on the driving, is it?
But my boy's got to go through all that soon.
Completely different now, and the price then is incredible. Hugh, it must have been what, £6?
No, it's like the company paid for it.
Oh, the company paid for it?
Yeah.
What
a
still
waste. Didn't do it, I know.
What a waste of
Biggest
money.
waste of money for the company ever. Yeah.
Then the insurance money to pay for all the damages.
But it was worth it to them in the long run.
That's the thing. See insurance now for cars for young people. I'm hearing it's something like $4,000 to get insured for a year.
Oh,
that's just unimaginable. So if Jacob does pass, I hope he gets a job pretty quickly. A well-paid one at that.
We're getting quite serious here, aren't we?
Aye.
That's supposed to be having fun.
Well, I hope he's
listening and going, oh, my dad put me under pressure.
I bought the fridge freezer and I took out a 3-year warranty. I went out to the car park where Lady Keevins of Bearsden was sitting, and I said, right, I bought it. Taking out you're taking out a 3-year warranty? The warranty will outlive you.
But you'll have a good
That's
fridge.
a good shout. What kind
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
St Johnstone 1, Dundee 1, and it's Adama Sidibe who scored his first goal for St Johnstone to equalise. It was a spectacular goal as well, a scissor kick, and he has them level. Was playing in the 7th tier of English football in the first half of this season, and now he's got himself a Scottish Premiership goal.
Now, is that a good thing from our point of view, or a questionable thing that someone can come from the 7th tier of English football and into our top league?
I find it hard to second guess when players go down south and down to other leagues as well, because you see it so many times that players come from certain divisions and they'll come up here and they'll do well, or they'll go down south and not do so well. And look at Mikey Johnson, for example, in the Championship. Wasn't cutting it at Celtic, but has been a revelation by all accounts at West Brom. But it is a huge step up.
But he's accomplished it, and good luck to him. Now, with Hibs losing, there was a real chance for Dundee to go top 6 tonight, so that they are going to have to find that iron will. They've suffered the loss of the equaliser. They are having to now go in search of another goal.
So that's a 40-yard effort and a scissor kick at McDermott Park today.
The goal of the weekend shouts on Monday night. We'll have a few to pick from, I think.
Roger will be a happy man.
Well,
watching
Roger's
that.
there, seen it in action, so he'll be able to tell us. But I just fancy St Johnstone to get something today. I went a draw. I think that'll be. I think that'll stay a draw. I've got to say that.
Couple of changes for Dundee straight away. Jordan McGee and Michael Mellon have come on for Costello and Tiffany. 4 substitutions by St Mirren that they've made already. The latest 2, Bacchus and McMenamin on. Olisanya and Boyd Munce have come off.
Well,
Bacchus, decent sub to bring on.
Michael Mellon's got a goal in him.
Yep.
Good young player. So positive steps by Tony Docherty.
There has been a goal for Clyde against Peterhead. I'm not sure that they're going to really pull that one all the way back. That would allow Stenhousemuir the chance to properly win the league today. It looks as if it might be delayed for another week or so. A couple of changes for Rangers. Todd Cantwell and Scott Wright. Their afternoon is over. Tom Lawrence and Dujon Sterling are on.
Do you know the thing I noticed about Rangers this afternoon? I think it's good news for everyone concerned at Ibrox. Their bench looks very strong again. You know, they're starting to get these players back from injury. He'll have good options. You know the way this manager likes to operate. He likes to rotate most weeks, but you can only rotate if you've got the quality to put on the pitch. And if you look at his substitutions today on that bench, he's got good options to pick from.
I think noticed there was no Kemar Roof on the bench today. There were photos of him with the squad today, sort of doing the lap of the pitch beforehand. So you wonder whether it's just a case of there being so many options that he's not needed on the bench, or whether he's.
Don't tell me he got injured.
Injured won't. No,
certainly wasn't mentioned by Philip Lamont yesterday.
That'll probably be it. I mean, the squad does is right. Players coming back, and Roof just takes his place within the pecking order. So it'll be interesting. This game's far from over yet, but next week's selection will Clement rotate like he has rotated with his full squad in previous games, or if they get a victory against Hibs today, is that the side he's got in mind for next week? I
find that funny, Marty. You're talking about Ruth, that it might just be a case that there's a lot of the big hitters back, there's no room there, right? If Roof's fit, right, and I know there have been question marks and what the boys went through, it's been unbelievable for him, but for me, if he's fit, he would always be in my bench, because I think he can come on, give you a 15-20 minutes. He's a good finisher, Roof. He's a good player. Unfortunately, he's not been able to kick his Rangers career on because of injuries, but a fit Roof can still get you something in a game that you need to, pull something out or get that final goal that just puts the game to bed. So I would be very surprised that, if he was 100% fit, why he's not in the bench.
But was that, I'm trying to think back, you might be able to tell me, when was the last time he did that? I know he's been injured. But I get what you're saying. He's a good player, but as time goes on and the more injuries you pick up, the more time you're at the team, does it move on? Do Rangers move on?
I take that on board if you're sitting there with 2 or 3 centre forwards, Danilo for instance on the bench and stuff like that. You can say, okay, we can put Roof down the pecking order a little bit, but you're not sitting with that luxury. You're not sitting with a lot of centre forwards, natural centre forwards.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Another Great goal. This time Marley Watkins. It's Hearts 1, Kilmarnock 1. A curler from 20 yards from the angle of the box. And it has been coming, according to David Friel.
Oh, he's a good player, Watkins, and he's been a good signing for Derek McInnes. And I fancied Hearts today, but I did think both teams would go. You know, you look at the attacking options that Derek McInnes has got at his disposal, who he's signed and how they're playing this season. You always fancy them to nick a goal, and there you are. Watkins stepping up at a crucial time in the game.
Coming back from a losing position again for the second game running at the moment, Kilmarnock.
Yeah, it's not a good sign, because you don't want to keep having to chase your tail every game, because it'll not happen week in, week out. But it shows you they've got good character in the squad. They've always got a threat. If you look at Kilmarnock, we talk about Rangers bench, and I know that Kilmarnock's bench is not in the same quality, but for Kilmarnock, they've got some real decent players on that bench that can come on, get you goals. They've got a good starting 11, everything about them. They've had a terrific season under Derek McInnes, no doubt at all.
Good crowd at Tynecastle as well, almost 90,000.
I love my crowds. I love my crowds. I'll bet you in a summer's day here, well, spring day, the clock's going forward tonight. Make sure you get
spring forward,
fall back. Yes,
that's the old saying, isn't it?
And I think the crowds will bout in numbers today. I really do.
Decent chance for Cyril Dessers in the middle of the Rangers box, just stretching as he went to hit that one, unable to hit the target.
What's he up to now, Dessers, in goals?
It must be somewhere around the 16-ish mark, I think, in
it's not bad, is
season.
it?
By the way, it is not bad, and he misses plenty of chances. He gets stick for the chances he misses, but as long as within the games, he's
16
still
before today, so 17 he's on now.
Yeah,
in 44 appearances in total.
I wonder, compare that to Choak, because I thought it was a mistake initially to let Choak go last season, but then when you look at Dessers' numbers, and when you go back to at the end of the season, when you have a look, I wonder how that'll be comparable.
Yeah, Antonio Cholak last season was 18 in 39, so didn't play as many games and did score more goals. Had that really good patch at the start of his career.
I guess they've still got time.
Rangers.
What's he got? 8 games left to go. So he still might surpass that.
He needs that big goal, doesn't he? For me, he just to win over the Rangers. I think a lot of Rangers fans I like Dessers, right? Don't get me wrong, I see him sometimes, it frustrates the life out of me, but I think he's getting better and better in a Rangers strip. I really do. I thought we've seen his goal coming in there at half time. The ball from Cantwell is outstanding, and then his header, he just bullets it into the back of the net. He'll score more goals, but I think Mark made a point a few weeks ago, when you play with Rangers or Celtic, you've got to get a big goal under your belt. You've got to get a goal against Celtic. You've got to get a goal in a semi-final or a final or so. Just get a big goal under your belt. It takes all the weight off.
Well, next weekend's his chance then.
You never know what you're going to get, do you? Because I think he played for Nigeria a couple of times over the international break, scored a penalty, but in their second game, I think it was set through 1-on-1, which Rangers fans have seen a lot of times this season, and he just doesn't ever seem to make the right decision. That time just took too long to shoot and blazed it over the bar.
Well, he did it against Celtic, of course, that led to the call who spoke about his horrific miss, or he used a much more graphic word. I'm trying to remember what it was, but you know, that's the kind of
an atrocity
of a finish. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. So
tell me a centre forward, name anyone at all. Here's another half-time teaser for it, that goes through every time, 1-1 goalkeeper and never misses.
But the thing is, see, when it comes to the top strikers in the world, a lot of them miss more chances than other players as well. If you look at big chances missed, which is now a metric that they use in these different stats websites, last I saw, Erling Haaland was top for big chances missed in the English Premier League, but because he scores so many, you forget the ones that he misses as well. Great strikers get a lot of chances like Erling Haaland does. It's just as long as he takes as many as he can.
Yeah, and Rangers against every team in the Premiership will make a sufficient number of chances for Dessers to miss 3 but get 1. So that, the figures aren't bad at all.
I'm not saying Cyril Dessers as Erling Haaland before anyone tweets me.
I think that's what you were trying to say.
Eyes all right there, Mark? Squinting a wee bit?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Listen,
quite
he
up.
set you up perfectly.
Yes.
Talk about eyes.
Aye, I was getting my eyes tested from our good friends at Pinder Eye Care. Yeah, over at Paul Shores. By the way, talking about eyes, I saw you strolling by as well, Andrew. After my eye test.
Can't it be that bad then?
Aye,
he was in Newton Mearns.
It actually wasn't. It was your partner that saw me as well. You didn't see me. It
didn't
must have been
see
your
you,
eyesight.
actually,
Yeah.
I know. I was driving. By the way, when have you had your eyes tested?
I don't need my eyes tested, mate.
A lot goes into it. Eye testing, yeah. And then they ask you a lot of questions. I was thinking, you're trying to trip me up here. You know, can you read these letters? Yep. And then you read them. Is it look blurrier or clearer? With us on, and you're
I'll
going.
be honest, that just sounds like a standard eye test, doesn't it?
Yeah,
That's kind of how they determine whether you can see or not.
But then you start second guessing yourself. You're going.
Then do you take a step back and all that?
No, you're sitting in a seat with a big machine, and they put different kind of goggles
It's
on.
different sort of lenses that they
Aye.
flick through to see the strength of them.
I'd like to do that. What's the name of that company again?
That'll be Pinder.
I tell you, when the last time I got my eyes tested was
the
last time I got my eyes tested was after sort of lockdown, so I hadn't been out working at the football in a while because there wasn't any football, and I went out to a game and I thought, numbers on the back of the shirts aren't as clear as they used to be. I thought this could be an issue going forward. I thought I'll just go and get my eyes tested. So I went and got them tested, and they're doing the thing where they put the battery on your eyes and they're flicking through the lenses, and the whole way through the woman was going, yep, good, yep. So I was thinking it was quite positive. So eventually she then tells me to sit back, puts the light on. The first thing she says is, well, the positive thing is you're legal to drive without glasses. How bad had my sight deteriorated in the space of
bad.
as someone who had never worn glasses or even considered wearing glasses
You can
before?
still drive legally.
Yeah, just about. Yeah,
but you can't do anything else.
Hold on a minute.
Can't do anything else.
You don't get many right, sir. Could you please get out of the car and take out your contacts? They would see the situation with your eyes here, do they?
So you need to put on driving glasses.
How would you know?
I wear contact lenses. So,
do you?
Yeah.
See, I couldn't do that. I would have to have one of the fashionable,
glasses.
frames. Aye. So I need reading glasses. Well, a slight prescription for reading glasses now.
2.5s out the local shop, £3.
So, by the way, I told the lady it was doing it. She's very helpful, but I said my dad gave me a shot. His glasses. He got them in Poundland. I said they did the trick. She said, no, they're not very good. No, stay clear.
So you're needing glasses now, is that
needing
right?
glasses. By the way, so they take pictures of the inside of your eye.
Yeah.
So they can tell if you've got any other illnesses with the inside of your eye. How mad is that? Where see, I'm blowing your mind.
Tell me something.
Hugh.
Tell me
See,
something.
you've got a man with specs himself.
How much did this company pay you? Because you're really letting this.
Nothing. Just good friends at Hinders.
There has been a change at Ibrox, an interesting change at Ibrox, by the way. Ross McCausland has come on for Borna Barisic. So
Keep
you
him for next week.
wonder, does Dujon Sterling go into a fullback role? Does John Lundstrom drop in and Rangers potentially go to a back five?
I would see Sterling get in at left back there, Andrew. I'd be surprised if he wants to maybe go into a back five. Would he? With Lundstrom just sitting there? Because I think Hibs have went maybe go two up, try to chase a game. So he might just go for a 3v2 at the back, put Lundstrom in, Suter and Goldstone at either side.
Sterling's so vital for Rangers now. It's amazing how a season, goes for players. Sterling into the team, out of the team, nobody was really quite sure, and then he bursts into it, playing a midfield role. Then he's moved everywhere. Right wing, left wing back maybe just now. Crucial to have players like that in your team that can fill in everywhere. So really, really valuable player, and they'll be looking to keep him fit, because that was a blow when he went off at Easter Road.
I can't imagine you would have taken too kindly to being asked to play different roles during your career.
I once played right back at Tannadice for Rangers against Dundee United. Don't get me wrong, it was the Reserve League Cup at the time. And I was unbelievable. I was like a Fraser Wisher with ability, going up and down that wing, but I could use the ball.
I think that's the final nail in the coffin for your PFA invite.
No, I started as a winger, lightning quick, used to be brilliant on the wing, great balls into box, and then I thought to myself, if somebody could do that and put balls of the quality I'm putting in, I would be in there taking all the limelight. So I changed to a number 9 berth, and the rest is history.
You do not know how to use the word birth.
Yes,
anyway, there's been a goal at Fir Park.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it's an equaliser for Motherwell.
Yes.
Motherwell 1, St Mirren 1. And no prizes for guessing who. Theo Bair scores again for Motherwell. What a signing he's been for the Fir Park side, and they are level against St Mirren after looking second best most of the game.
Well, the crowd will be quiet now, and it's a case of next goal's the winner, I think, in that particular match. At Ibrox, we've spoken about the depth of the choice that Philippe Clement has now. The bench is getting stronger and stronger, but 2-1 is still a fragile lead. They need to get a third goal before this game has been put to bed, because Hibs scored completely out of the blue and against the run of play. They could do it a second time.
Yeah, not too many openings at Ibrox in the last few moments. There has been a change for Hibs as well. Martin Boyle comes on for Eli Yuan, and one of these.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Big goal for Aberdeen. They take the lead against Ross County. Jamie McGrath knocked it in from close range after a cross from Duke, and that is something they certainly needed.
Yeah.
Well, last 20 minutes all around the country getting very interesting, because nothing is done and dusted. Draw at Perth at the moment. Aberdeen 2-1 up but not secure. Hearts 1 up. Never know. Motherwell St Mirren.
No, 1-1, Hugh. 1-1 at Tynecastle.
1-1, yeah. And who scored?
Marley Watkins.
Well, the same principle applies. At all 5 matches, there's still scope for
drama,
a twist and a turn of fate.
Yeah, the big one in the Championship, not one of our featured matches, but one we are keeping a real close eye on. Dundee United are 1-0 up against Raith Rovers, but also have just been awarded a penalty, so a good opportunity for them to go 2-0 up. That would be a big result for the Tannadice side.
It will be, because that game's been built up for weeks and weeks that this was coming, and you've always got to think the pressure lies firmly with Dundee United just because of budgets and the team that they are in the history. So if they manage to get themselves 2 up with 20 to go, then huge sigh of relief, I believe, for Jim Goodwin.
Yeah, still, look, this isn't going to be the title decider. I think Wraith still got a game in hand.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, so but it would be a good result, especially after last week. And Dundee United and the players and Jim Goodwin come in for a lot of criticism, so they have to get back up and running. That'd be a good way to do it. Beat Raith Rovers this afternoon.
Louis Moult scores 2-0 to Dundee United.
Good signing him. He's doing what he was brought to the club to do. I think everybody foreseen that he would probably be a good goal scorer.
You wondered as well, because his return to Motherwell didn't quite go to plan, did it?
Yeah.
I don't think he was fit, Andrew.
I was going to say that, didn't he? Wasn't he very mobile, was he, when he came back?
No, he didn't look fit at all, so...
What on earth happened to your voice?
I swallowed a Dalek, I think. I don't know if anybody noticed that there, but my throat absolutely did.
I thought you put some sort of sound effect, Andrew, on that. Are you alright? Somebody just possessed him there.
Sounded like a filter. I looked up to see that it was definitely you still singing.
Yeah, I don't know. My singing voice went there, I think. I'm glad you guys kept that one quiet.
There is no way that people would not have noticed that. That was wild. That was absolutely wild.
If we've got that.
Yeah, we need to get that. We are going to get that clipped up, and it is going to be used a lot, I think.
Were you swallowing or something when you were?
No, I don't know what happened there in my throat. It's closed up.
The concern that these two had for your health was
exactly, you. Anything could have been happening there.
Oh, it's a cartoon frog had joined us in the studio. What's
going
on?
I was working on my impersonations.
Oh dear.
As long as you're okay, get him a glass of water. He'll be alright.
Right, we are into, what's that, the final 15 minutes or so of the games, just depending on how long was added in the first half for a few of them. Probably about 15 to go at Ibrox, maybe 10 at the rest of the matches. Could be some late drama as well.
Yeah, see, every ground there's a potential for a twist of fate. And that includes Ibrox, because at 2-1 you cannot, and Martin Boyle's on the park now, so you cannot rest on your laurels. There's a chance of just one kick of the ball, and that's you in trouble.
Speaking of late drama,
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
St Johnstone 1, Dundee 2, and it's Bakayoko with a close range finish. The cross from the left by Donnelly and the finish by Amadou Bakayoko puts Dundee ahead.
And if they hold on to it, they'll go into the top 6, unless Hibs can find a goal at Ibrox.
Well, what did I tell you about Dundee going forward? Good players. Mentioned Bakayoko earlier on. I think he's done very well in his first season here. Scored some crucial goals for Dundee and at it again this afternoon. So it's all about holding on for them there.
Oh, goal for Stranraer, you know what that means?
There he is.
Good form, by the way, he's in at the moment. Getting good use out of that. There we go, a goal for them and a goal for Darren Lang, everyone's favourite new goal song. But that is a big goal for Dundee, especially with Hibs behind as well.
Yeah, well, you know, I do stick to what I said earlier on. I think Tony Dock's main objective was to keep Dundee in the division, but if they go top 6 this evening, then he can start to think of bigger things.
If he gets top 6, is Tony Dock in the running for manager of the year? Is there too many ahead of him in the queue? When you think of bringing a team up and making, how many signings did you say? 20, was it
21
new signings and getting into the top 6? It'd be some achievement.
I think if Tony Docherty got it ahead of Philippe Clement or Brendan Rodgers, there would be an immense furore.
But then it's quite tough, isn't it? Because a lot of the time these awards are handed out before the end of the season, so there's a chance that you hand it out to either Brendan Rodgers or Philippe Clement in a very tight title race, and then they don't go on to win the league title.
Well, we shall wait and see.
And it can't go to an Old Firm manager that doesn't win a league title. Like, it's pretty simple as that.
No, when I mention both in the same breath, I am assuming that one will be the title winner, and he will be manager of the year.
Quite often the votes are before the final games of the season, so it's quite a tight vote as well for most of them, but I'm sure we will get round to those debates as well. We are closing in on the last few minutes. How about a look at that teaser again, Hugh?
I have played alongside Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Jackie McNamara. I have been managed by Paul Dickov and Mark McGee. I have scored in European competition and I won a league title in England. Who am I?
How are the two of you getting on with this?
I forgot all about it, actually.
Oh, that's good. Robbie Fowler says Maynard on Twitter.
No.
There is a few shouts I see for Paul Caddis.
Paul Caddis,
Yeah. Davy Kerwin says Jamie Murphy.
No.
And Sean Ross says Dean Windass.
No.
That's a couple of correct answers in there, though.
That's a difficult one.
Yep, that's a difficult one. I knew I wasn't getting that.
You got it?
No. Not a chance.
Right, should we just relive that? I was going to say Voice Break by Gordon DL, but
have you got it?
Oh, of course.
Come on then, let's hear it.
I don't think that was me.
Silence in the room, please.
Wasn't he very mobile, was he, when he came back?
No, he didn't look fit at all.
That's actually better than I remembered. That is genuinely insane, isn't it?
Someone's
what did that feel like when you were trying to speak?
I don't really know, to be honest with you.
Our body experience here. Somebody's.
I think they're making a bit of fun of me here.
Yeah, I think so.
Was it the film?
It's alright when he dishes it out to Fraser Wishart earlier on, isn't it?
Unfortunately, I just had a mishap with my throat.
Roger Hanna says Daz off, Joe Pasquale on.
Right, okay. I'm glad somebody recorded that one.
One more time.
Wasn't he very mobile, was he, when he came back?
No, he didn't look fit at all.
That is so good. Oh dear, that is concerningly good.
That was made up.
Made up. The proof played out in front of you straight away. Made up. I feel like that is your defence for a lot of things, a lot of accusations that are thrown your way. There are a couple of substitutions for Rangers. Dessers and Silva off, Matondo and Sima is on, so that'll be a good one for Rangers fans to see what sort of shape Abdallah Sima is in after that injury that he's been out for, especially with the Old Firm game on the horizon.
And they also believe in him as a goal scorer, so it's all getting very interesting. But I repeat, 2-1 does not have the look of game over about it yet, so there's a bit of football left in this game.
I said at the beginning, Hugh, that it's 3 points. I thought it'd be tight. Hibs middle of front, we know they can give up goals, but it's all about getting to the end of this game, getting 3 points and saying to Celtic, over to you at Livingston. I expect Celtic to win comfortably tomorrow, I've got to say, but get your job done first and foremost, and I think Rangers will go over the line here.
Yeah, we will take a look at that game in a bit more depth during the open line. Remember, you can get your calls on the usual number from 5 o'clock, whether it's one of today's results, whether it is the game tomorrow. We want to hear your opinions on it.
Is Sima coming on? Is it just too early for next week?
No, I don't think so.
To start?
I don't think so.
Because he's a big player for Rangers.
I mean, Celtic are talking about, and the Celtic fans hope that Callum McGregor will come back next week.
Yeah, Seaman's been out for longer though, hasn't he?
Been out for.
Yeah, I know, but but Callum McGregor would have to come back with no game time at all. So Clement will go his own way as ever, but I don't think Sima will start against Celtic, but he'll certainly be involved.
Yeah, you'd be surprised if he didn't play some role. But is that likely to be off the bench, would you say?
I don't really know. I think he's such a big player for Rangers. They might, in a one-off game, because Mark will tell you, we were talking about the crowd and the atmosphere. The atmosphere carries you through these games. You don't ever feel tired when you're playing in a Celtic Rangers Celtic game, whatever you want to call it. But I just think that Sima is such a big important player for Rangers.
I think Sterling's got a better chance in playing than Sima.
I think Sterling will play probably. If Yilmaz isn't fit, I think he'll play down the left hand side.
He'll play left back.
I think he'll play down the left hand side. Yeah,
left wing back, left back. He'll not change the system, will he?
No, I think he'll play left back. Yeah,
left back ahead of Barisic.
Yeah,
you think so? You're leaving it your favourite.
Yilmaz. I mean, Philip Clement said yesterday that there is a chance Ridvan Yilmaz could be available for that game. Just depends how he gets on next week.
Well, he's turned into a big player, Yilmaz, and you know you can see why. He is an upgrade in Barisic going forward and defensively. I tend to think he'd probably stick for balance with Barisic. I think he'll play Sterling further up. I think he's done a real good job there, Sterling, when he's been called upon. It gives you that wee bit of defensive security as well when you realise the danger of Celtic in the wide areas. So it's always going to be fascinating, the team selection, but plenty of time to get to that, I'm sure, in the coming week.
Are close to a league title being decided as well in League One, because Hamilton still drawing with Queen of the South. If they drop points with Marvin Bartley's Queen of the South, then Falkirk win the title before they play Montrose tonight. So that'll be, they can get their party plans sorted before they kick off. Would that be your way of doing things? Or would you have had them done well in advance?
Oh, they'd have been well in advance. The invitations would have been out by now, unlike Wisher. I've got to say, in all my time in football, it would be my worst nightmare, win the championship in Montrose.
It's a long journey down the road, unless you have your wee party on the bus,
especially at night. You know what I mean? What time's the kick off?
Yeah,
half
5.
Nah, that's no for me.
7:30 out of there for about 8:30.
You're one
down the road for 10.
Right, Hugh, let's round this off because I think we're maybe into added time in some of the games.
Okay.
The second half teaser
with the ScottishSun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I played alongside Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Jackie McNamara, managed by Paul Dickov and Mark McGee, scored in European competition and won a league title in England. I am Xander Diamond.
Yep, Xander Diamond. There was a nod from you at the end there, pretending that you got it right at the end.
I did.
Not a chance would you have got Xander Diamond. Not a chance.
I did.
On the podium, Callum Kirkpatrick was third, Derek Carkery second, but Starbar Andrew was the quickest. He is off the mark and gets top of the podium. There has been one of these at Ibrox, a late goal.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Rangers 3, Hibernian 1, and that game looks out of sight now. Rabia Matondo off the bench on the score sheet, a strike from distance to put Rangers 3-1 up against Hibs and surely put them back to the top of the table for now.
Without question. It's far too late in the day for Hibs to have any hopes, even dreams of staging a comeback that would get them anything out of this game. So Rangers have persevered. They've had a fairly dramatic day of it one way and another, but they're over the line now, and therefore we can say it's over to you, Celtic, lunchtime at the Tony Macaroni.
Yep, Rangers fans will be delighted with that. It's always nice just to finish up the last 5 to 10 minutes, you know, with the pressure off your shoulders. They can start to focus on next week's game, and Hugh's right, over to Celtic now to deal with the pressure tomorrow.
I did wonder when Tom Lawrence and Dujon Sterling came on, you know, playing for places in that game next weekend with Rangers' winger situation. Rabia Matondo, he'll be hoping that he can try and make some sort of impact in the starting lineup as well next week.
I think he's an impact player. I think exactly what he's doing today, I think that's what he's all about. I don't like to label players like that, but I think you know, when teams are tired, especially Ibrox, and they've been working hard, he comes on there, he gives you that spark, he's sharp, he's got pace, he comes inside, he can go on his right foot, and he's obviously scored a terrific goal. It puts the ease at Ibrox this afternoon. But starting, no, I don't see him doing that.
Gives you blistering pace, so that's the one positive. In fullbacks, any fullback hates playing against blistering pace, so he gives Rangers that. He keeps his width pretty well as well, so those are the positives for Matondo if Clement's weighing things up. But probably agree with Daz. I think there'll be others ahead of him in the queue to take that position next week.
There is a VAR check going on for a potential St Johnstone goal. Kimpioka off the bar, the ball was bundled in, the referee blew for a foul. It's now being checked. Greg Aitken has sent Ian Snedden to the screen. So this could well be. So it hasn't been given because the whistle went after the ball went into the net for a free kick. But because the whistle went afterwards, the goal could be given. We will get back to that because there is a full time already at Tynecastle. David Friel.
Yeah, Andrew, full time. Hearts 1, Kilmarnock 1. It's mission accomplished for Kelly. They got the point. Derek McInnes needed to secure a top 6 place. They are still waiting in full time at Ibrox before officially celebrating, but their place in the top half looks safe. They lead Hibs by 7 points now, can't be caught. This was a deserved draw for Kelly. They probably should have won. Came courtesy of a Marley Watkins wonder goal in 67 minutes. Should have been level long before then, but Derek McInnes will take the point at a very tough venue. Another really good performance from his side. Started well for Hearts. Kenneth Vargas gave him a 10-minute lead when he headed in a brilliant Lawrence Shankland cross. Hearts did have other chances, but Kelly then wasted 3 opportunities to level before half time. Stuart Finlay, Joe Wright, Marley Watkins were all unmarked from close range, but they couldn't convert their headers. Kelly kept going in the second half, and although chances were a lot more scarce, they did level in 67 minutes. Kel Vassell found Watkins in the angle of the box. He still has so much work to do, but he chucked into space, and his culling effort gave Xander Clark no chance into the top corner. Joe Wright and Stuart Finlay headed wide late on for Kelly, but they will take the point and that top 6 place. Full time, Hearts 1, Kilmarnock 1.
Yeah, Kilmarnock very close to securing that top 6 place, as David Friel said, just waiting for full time to go between Rangers and Hibs. That VAR decision, the referee went to the screen, stuck with his original decision, which you don't see all that often. It means that it stays 2-1 to Dundee. No late equaliser for St Johnstone.
Well, it shouldn't be a surprise that a man has the courage of his convictions and says, no, my original decision was the correct one. I think fans are bemused by how often referees go to the screen and they go there thinking, I must have made a mistake. The referee has gone to the screen at McDermott Park thinking, no, I haven't made any mistake.
Yeah, I like that as well. Now, I haven't obviously seen the incident, but I do like that. I think we need more of that. Referees having the courage to back up their decision in the first place. So, yeah, good on them.
Full time at Pittodrie, Dave Galloway.
Full time, Aberdeen 2, Ross County 1. It was a strong start by Aberdeen. They took a 5th minute lead. Junior Hoylett fed Bojan Majowski. His trundling effort from a tight angle was adjudged to have crossed the line before Loic Aina appeared to have scored an OG. But County responded well. Josh Reed's low, hard shot was well parried by Kellaroos, and they deservedly equalised after 26 minutes. Simon Murray's header at the back post found the net following a corner kick, but it was dreadful defending. Miche Effetti then seemed to have missed a sitter, blasting over from 6 yards. His blushes, though, were spared as the flag went up. The Dons were lucky to go in level at the interval. The Staggies playing some really nice stuff and knocking the ball about well. A chorus of boos greeted the half-time whistle, and County continued on top into the second half. Simon Murray whipped in a cross, but Jordan White in front of goal couldn't connect with a header. Jan Danda went close when he pounced on a loose ball on the edge of the box. His well-struck shot brilliantly touched over by Kellaroos, but at the other end things started to stir for the Dons. The on-rushing Duke was challenged by George Wickens, who charged out of his box. Yellow card given from the resultant free kick. Leighton Clarkson curled his free kick just wide. Aberdeen were looking better now, a couple of subs making an impact, and one of them, Duke, crossed for Jamie McGrath to tap in after 78 minutes. And another sub, Dante Polvara, rattled the crossbar with a 20-yard half volley. The visitors kept at it, but the Dons were in control for large chunks of the second half at least. It could have been so different, but Aberdeen managed to turn things around. And what a massive victory this could be in a troubled campaign for them. The fans just doing a mini lap of honour and taking the applause of the fans in this near 18,000 crowd. And absorbing afternoon's entertainment, Aberdeen 2, Ross County 1.
And congratulations to Falkirk, who have won the League One title, because it was a goalless draw between Hamilton and Queen of the South. So Falkirk, after 5 years, finally getting out of League One. They will be playing in the Championship next season. They still have a game to go today away to Montrose, that 5:30 kick-off, but they'll go into it knowing that they are title winners.
A good man, John Mclean, the Falkirk manager, and they are a club who can't spend that amount of time in the third tier of Scottish football, so they'll be a welcome addition to the Championship. They have a terrific fan base, and they, correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, but they have become champions while not losing a single game this season.
Correct. Full time at Fir Park, Motherwell against St Mirren. Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, Motherwell 1, St Mirren 1. I think you can tell from the body language of the St Mirren players they'll be disappointed. Point apiece may be fair, but I think St Mirren will feel they should have been further ahead than the Marcus Fraser first half goal by the time that Theo Bear equalised on 74 minutes. Motherwell actually started well. Theo Bear, decent chance, pulled the ball across the goal and wide. Should have hit the target. Gent then with a low shot, it was touched onto the post by Hemming and the ball was cleared. But after that, the first half, it was all St Mirren at the other end. 10 minutes, Ryan Strain with a 20-yard free kick up and over the wall, hit the bar, rebound down, it went straight up in the air, and Mikael Mandron, big leap, got his head to the ball and headed off the bar as well, and the ball was cleared. 18 minutes, the deserved lead for St Mirren. Kilty with the in-swinging corner from the left. Stephen O'Donnell got a slight touch to the ball, and everybody just stood as it hit Marcus Fraser in the head. I'm not sure how much he knew about it, but he didn't care as the ball went into the back of the net. And since couldn't be further ahead, Tanzer shot over, a couple of saves by Kelly, and then Motherwell rarely threatening Hemming's goal. But they did start the second half a bit brighter. Gent at a low cross, Bear with a touch straight at Hemming at the other end. Olasanya's pace took him clear. His shot was deflected off Casey, and as everybody just watched the ball, it drifted an inch wide with Kelly beaten. Sub-Bacchus was in inches wide, a clever shot, 65 minutes, just gave himself a yard and curled the ball with his side foot inches wide with Kelly beaten again. But as we passed 70 minutes, the tempo had dropped out of the game. Saints were quite happy at that, very comfortable. Motherwell's heads were down. You could feel the fans were quiet until the 74th minute. Well, out of nowhere, Blair Spittle with a deep cross. Stephen O'Donnell came in at the back post, really good, clever header, right back across the face of goal, and Theo Bear bundled the ball into the back of the net, despite Taylor and Hemming trying to keep the ball out from close range. Ayunga at the other end was just on from Manzon, brought out a good save from Kelly, low to his right, as both teams pushed for a winner. But as the game headed towards the final, as it drifted towards the end, and neither side created a clear chance to win the game. Top six now, out of Motherwell's reach, you have to think, but a point takes them just that bit further away from the playoff place. But for St Mirren, another chance gone to secure top 6. If they had won the game, they would have, but they're going to still need a couple of points in the 2 games before the split to secure that top 6 place. Full time at Fir Park, Motherwell 1, St Mirren 1.
It's also all over in Perth. Roger Hannah.
It certainly is, and it's a joy of 6 for Tony Docherty. Dundee, a first derby win in Perth for 6 years. Lyle Cameron scoring after 6 minutes. It's put them in pole position for the top 6, and they only need 6 points from the last 3 games to absolutely nail that down. Lyle Cameron scoring, as we say, 6 minutes, and an incredible goal from 40 yards. Dimitar Mitov, the St Johnstone goalkeeper, rushing from his goal. He got ahead to it. The ball fell to Amadou Bakayoko. It looked to strike Mitov in the hand. Referee Ian Snedden looked poised to blow his whistle for a free kick, but the ball fell invitingly for the Scotland under-21 midfielder Cameron, and he lobbed a sublime finish into the unguarded net from fully 40 yards. St Johnstone tried to get back in. Tony Gallagher and David Kjeltens, the 2 wing-backs, both denied by visiting goalkeeper John McCracken midway through the half. Nicky Clark fired wide after Adamas Sidibe cut the ball back into his path in 35 minutes, but it was 1-0 at the break. It was almost 2-0 in the restart. Scott Tiffany hitting the outside of the post from a tight angle, and the ball flying behind. Clark then had a header that looped into McCracken's arms as the Saints pushed hard for an equaliser, and they got it in spectacular style on the hour mark. A scissors kick from Sidibe, his first goal for St Johnstone since a move from Warrington Rylands in the 7th tier of English football. At that stage you would have fancied St Johnstone to go on and win. As Sidibe came off, Benji Kimpioka come on. His first impact in the game was across the deflected off Dundee captain Joe Shaughnessy and flew into the arms of McCracken at the near post. But then out of nothing on 80 minutes, Dundee went back ahead. Luke McCowan making space on the left side of the box. In came the ball, and there was Amadou Bakayoko to slide in the 6-yard box and knock the ball past Mitov for 2-1. Only his second goal of 2024 for the on-loan Forest Green Rovers striker. He was in the one change Docherty made from the last outing, with Curtis May now injured. In come Bakayoko, and what an impact. Saints threw everything at it. Graham Carey hit the post in 89 minutes from 25 yards, and then drama. Kimpioka hit the bar. The ball fell down on the line. It was bundled over the line, but referee Snedden blew for a foul. We think the foul Ryan McGowan on Aaron Donnelly, who ended up in the back of the net. But VAR Greg Aiken sent the referee Snedden to the screen to review his decision. It's just a 3rd Premiership game in the career of the young referee, but he stuck by his decision. No goal, no equaliser for St Johnstone. It means a huge derby win here for Dundee. The 6th place in the league. The 3 games left: home to Motherwell, home to Rangers, away to Aberdeen. 2 wins, and last year's Championship title winners will be Premiership top 6. St Johnstone 1, Dundee 2.
And it's finished at Ibrox as well, Gabriel.
It has, Andrew, and it's Rangers 3, Hibernian 1 at full time. Philippe Clement's side are back on top of the table thanks to a dramatic first half display with goals from James Tavernier and Cyril Dessers either side of Niziana. Mayalida's surprise equaliser, a late beauty from Ravi Matondo, wrapped up 3 points. The Rangers took the lead after a calamitous 5-minute spell for the visiting defence. The hosts were awarded a penalty after John Suter was elbowed in the face from a corner. Referee David Dickinson pointed to the spot after consulting the monitor. And up stepped Captain Tavernier, usually so assured from the spot, but it was a poor attempt right down the middle. Easy enough for David Marshall to parry away, but there was Scott Wright to pounce on the rebound. A lovely finish, first time off the inside of the woodwork. But hold on, the big screen read possible encroachment, and after a review there was a Rangers player causing the infringement and no goal was given. So a lifeline for Hibs, but not for long. Tavernier eventually made it 1-0 on his 450th appearance for the club. A thunderous volley, and there was no stopping that. And what a 5 minutes that was. Rangers calmed the game down a bit. They were in control right up until stoppage time. Ila Yuan leading a counter-attack for Hibs. He cut the ball across to Mayalida, who took a touch and just poked it past Jack Butland. Ibrox was stunned. It was silenced, and it looked set to be a nervy second 45 minutes here. But there was more. Despite the setbacks, Rangers were desperate to be in front and on course for first place. In the 7th minute of added time, there was a great ball in from Todd Campbell on the right, headed in by Cyril Dessers, in off the underside of the crossbar. They had the lead going into the break, and they weren't going to let it slip from there. The game was still fairly open in the second half. Cantwell and John Lundstrom had shots deflected just wide of the post, whilst Dessers had another couple of big chances. First a header that forced a great save from Marshall, and then a chance inside the box where he should have scored but slid the ball past the post as he was slipping over. A substitute, Ravi Matondo, wrapped up with a beautiful strike from outside the box, curling the ball from the left into the far corner, and that was that. Hibs had to threaten more if they wanted anything from the game. Top six looks like it might be a bit of a task now with Dundee's victory, but it's another great win for Rangers on the road to a potential treble. The bouncy is in full flow around me. You can hear it, Andrew. No one was leaving this game early. Rangers are back on top, and all eyes are on Celtic now, who play tomorrow. And then, of course, it's Rangers against Celtic in 8 days' time. Full time at Ibrox. Rangers 3, Hibernian 1.
Well, what a day in Scottish football. It never disappoints, does it? Some big results in the Scottish Premiership. We do have a title winner as well. Falkirk have won League One. They'll be a Championship side next season as well. And now it's over to you on the open line. 0141 951 1025. Maybe you've got some thoughts on your team's performance today. Maybe you're a Celtic fan that wants to preview that game against Livingston tomorrow. Maybe you're a Falkirk fan that wants to celebrate that title win. No matter what your opinion is, give us a call. 0141 951 1025.
Get up to £400 off selected Peloton bike and tread purchases and let our classes energise your day. That's school run easy after 20 minutes on the bike. Back-to-back meetings.
Sorry I'm late.
No problem after a yoga class. Power up with up to £400 off selected Peloton bike and tread purchases and make day-changing energy.
Offer ends 8th of April. Internet connection and Peloton all access membership at £39 a month required to access Peloton content. Terms apply. See onepeloton.co.uk.
Hear that? That is £250,000 tax-free falling right into your bank. Just enter at winhappy.me/wincash. UK residents over 18 only. Terms and conditions apply. Competition ends on the 5th of April at 3 p.m.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast.
With Lucas Volvo. The full electric range is now available on Motability.
After the action, it's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
So much happening across Scotland today. Lots of exciting games on the go. We had some good results in the top flight. We had a league winner as well in Falkirk. They've clinched League One. Will be playing in the Championship next season. There was a win for Rangers against Hibs. Dundee beat St Johnstone away from home. A draw between Motherwell and St Mirren. A draw between Hearts and Kilmarnock, and a big win for Aberdeen against Ross County. And we want to hear what you made of it all. 0141 951 1025. We're here until 6 o'clock to get your opinions in. And what was a good day of Scottish football, Hugh?
Yeah, excitement everywhere, top and bottom. Rangers now go ahead of Celtic. You could argue about Livy, 3 games won all season long, but they can from time to time be a thorn in Celtic's side. Brendan Rodgers can't afford tomorrow to be one of those days. Down at the bottom, remarkable crowd at Aberdeen. You know, almost 18,000 people for a team who have had a shocker of a season. But today sees them go on the up, and I am certain that by the time Aberdeen play next weekend, a new manager will be in place. So it's been a very good day for them, and a great day for Tony Docherty, who goes top 6 with Dundee at the expense of Hibs, who really, apart from their goal, had very little to offer at Ibrox.
Important for Rangers to get that victory over Hibs for 2 reasons. 1, to go back to the top of the table, and 2, because there's a big game next weekend that they couldn't have gone in to with a poor result.
Oh, without doubt, momentum goes a long way in this game, and particularly at this time of the season. So it was hugely important that Rangers won the game, got the 3 points, but by all accounts it was a good performance as well, and that always helps along the way. And for Philippe Clement, we'll probably hear, but I think by all accounts, to come through the game without any injuries in a season that's plagued them with injuries will be a bonus as well. So he will look forward to having almost a full squad ahead of that one. And again, over to tomorrow, Brendan Rodgers, what kind of team will he field? Will it be one with next week in mind, or will it be strongest 11 he can possibly field and then hope that he gets the 3 points and picks up no injuries also? So it's been a good day of football though. Big win again for Aberdeen, but for Dundee, well done to them. Moving into top 6, not an easy job that for Tony Dock, and he deserves the plaudits today, certainly.
What were the big results for you?
I think obviously at the top of the league, because that's where we're all concentrating now. It's so exciting. I think it was a case of Rangers just getting 3 points. I thought it'd be tight. Yeah, they got the third goal late on, Matondo coming on. I thought it was a positive day for Rangers in the fact that some of their big hitters are coming back now. They're getting more quality to pick from. Dessers gets an important goal, gives him that confidence for next week. Terrific ball from Cantwell. So I think it was a good day for Rangers. I agree with the lads. Aberdeen, it was a very important one for them. If you look down the bottom now, St Johnstone, Welsh County, Livingston, pick your 2 from 3. Obviously we all fancy Livingston to finish bottom, and then as I say, Kilmarnock, Hearts, top 4, very good. And Tony Dock at Dundee, what a terrific job. And Motherwell St Mirren draw, but big result in the Championship as well. Could go a long way. Well done to Jim Goodwin and Dundee United this afternoon.
01419511025 is the best way to get in touch. Frank is a Rangers fan up first in the city centre. Frank, what did you take away from that victory today?
Well, what I would like to ask Hugh and Mark, what did they think of the referee today? What would they give him out of 10? Because quite literally, some of his decisions were bizarre.
What in particular, Frank?
I maintain the penalty should have been retaken. Now, this guy apparently has come up with another excuse to say that when a player infringed, so he was going to give the award to Hibs. Now, I think even Hibs players were astonished at that.
So the rule, I'll read you the rule, Frank, on encroachment. So if the encroachment is by an attacking player, so say Scott Wright is the player that had encroached or adjudged to have encroached, if the penalty is scored, the penalty is retaken. If the penalty isn't scored, then it's an indirect free kick to the opposition. So James Tavernier didn't score. Yes, the rebound went in, but because James Tavernier didn't score the penalty and Scott Wright was the player that was adjudged to have encroached, then by the laws of the game, it is an indirect free kick to Hibs.
Well, I would dispute that, because quite literally,
I mean, it's the laws of the game, Frank.
You can't dispute the laws of the game. Otherwise, where do we go?
Hugh, the same referee gave 2 drop balls to Hibs when the Rangers were in possession of the ball, and it was their drop kick, so he gave them to Hibs.
Anyway, my interpretation was that I didn't think it was a penalty at all in the first place. I thought it was one of those decisions that there's an arm, an extended arm. It caught John Souter, but for me it wasn't a penalty. However, the referee gave it, and the encroachment surprised me as well, because I cannot. It's like a blanket finish at the Grand National or something. I don't know how you prove encroachment on the part of the Rangers player. So in that particular incident, I think he got mixed up. I didn't think it was a penalty. I didn't think encroachment was on either.
They'll have a better view than sort of anyone in the stadium or any other sort of angles that people see, because people, I know people will be able to get angles from club TV channels, but Frank, it's not always the correct point. What VAR will look at is the correct point. They'll be able to zoom in and draw along that line. Yeah, but Frank asked what Mark and I thought of these, so obviously Frank has an ulterior motive. He thinks that Mark and I are going to find in favour of the referee and against Rangers, but as I say, I can only answer honestly. That fragment of play was the only thing that would cause me concern. I thought otherwise the referee had a simple match, and the Rangers were convincing winners, as we thought they would be. Frank?
Hugh, if a referee makes a decision like that, next week another referee will make another decision. They're totally inconsistent.
I understand that, Frank, but such is life. I mean, you've got it in one. Another incident of that type will occur next week. Another man will give another type of decision. I do not dispute a single word you're saying, but such is life in football. What did you make of the performance, Frank?
I thought we played well within ourselves. We're getting players back just now, players that are going to be important to us. It's a squad the squad's going to be important. The manager's changing players at the right time. They look fresh. And next week's going to be the decider. If Celtic can get a victory at Ibrox, which they could do because they're no mugs, they've been there before and they've did the business, then it's all to play for. If Rangers go 5 in front, then in my opinion, it's game over.
That's my opinion. Is that the type of performance that gives you confidence going into next week?
I think we're playing within. We're waiting for next week. Next week's going to be the decider as far as I'm concerned. Even if they draw the game at Ibrox, I still think Rangers have got the upper hand, because if it goes to the game at Parkhead, then Celtic will not be too happy at Rangers even needing a draw to win the league, and they'll be nervous. So it's all to play for. I think Rangers are playing well within themselves. It's all the results are going to come, I think.
I think to use the only cliche applicable here, you can only take it game at a time, because Rangers now on 73 points, Celtic on 71. Tomorrow, the assumption has been made that Celtic will go to 74 points and be a point above Rangers. But assumptions might be dangerous, and they are certainly premature. We'll need to see what happens tomorrow. We can only go one game at a time. The only thing we know is that Rangers are on 73 points and Celtic are on 71. End of conversation until we find out what happens tomorrow in Livy.
Getting the win is a big thing, but getting through the game unscathed as well. You know, what's that, 7 days out from a game against Celtic? How important is that as well?
Massive, because it's been highlighted that, you know, the manager keeps coming out every week and thinking what's happening here, because it's injury after injury after injury, key players. He likes to rotate, he likes that big squad, he likes to keep everybody in their toes, and when you get injuries to key players, that doesn't happen. Today I highlighted it. Have a look at Rangers bench. It was probably strongest it's been for a long time. Competition for places. It's at the right time. Business end of the season, as we call it. So I think that Rangers have had a good day. Will they complain about one or two things? Probably the way they gave up the goal. Of course they will. But to win 3-1, get the 3 points, that's what it's all about.
Frank, was it good to see Abdallah Sima back in the park? How did he look?
I must say he looked great, but as I say, the manager's changed the whole psyche at Rangers. It's a team effort, and it maybe not be Seaman next week it'll score the goal. It could be someone else. It could be Kamar Roof, because we're relying on the squad. It's a squad game, and the manager's installed that into them. And we very rarely are losing goals, so I'm quite happy about the way it's going.
The story of the season, if Rangers win the league, will be about Philippe Clement, because he took over a chaotic situation and he transformed the team. And as Frank said, he has transformed the psyche as well, the iron will that I spoke about at half-time at Ibrox. If Rangers win the league, the story will be the man Clement from Belgium.
It's probably the strongest the Rangers bench has looked in a while, Mark. There is then Kamar Roof, who wasn't in the squad today, who could well return to the squad. There's Ridvan Yilmaz, who Philip Clement says, you know, they'll assess next week, but could well be involved in that game against Celtic as well. It seems to be, the squad seems to be coming together at the right time.
Well, it certainly does. You look at the big players as well. You know, Raskin's had these injury problems this season. He's back in the bench, but I think most people's eyes are drawn to the top end of the pitch, particularly Sima. Sterling, I would class him as a top end of the pitch player now because of the performances he's put in. He's back. McCausland as well. You know, his injury last week was described as complex, was it, by Michael O'Neill? But he's back, he's on the bench and he takes part.
He also
today.
went on to say that he didn't want him to be on the bench and then come off the bench and look uncomfortable. So it wasn't as if he was saying that, you know, he felt it was a long injury. It was more that, I don't know whether he felt the situation was complex and maybe they didn't want to be the ones to substitute him on and cause further injury at a big time in the season.
Again, he's a player that, by the way, I thought he did okay in the first 45 minutes against Celtic earlier on the season. But you look at Lawrence, you look at Cantwell getting game time again. Rangers squad looking pretty strong at the minute. So Clement will be happy. He's got an awful lot of decisions to make, and maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago he might have thought the opposite. Maybe he thought it would be a skeleton squad and he's going to have to put a couple of those younger players that we saw in some of the previous games on the bench. He's got a strong enough team now.
Well, thank you to Frank. Give us a call, 01419511025. We can get more of your thoughts, and we'll start hearing from some of the managers of today's games next.
And now a word from our podcast sponsor, Lookers Motor Group. They've got Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. The Land Rover showrooms can be found in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showroom found in Hillington. And right now at lookers.co.uk you can browse and shop 24/7, value your part exchange, order and take delivery from the comfort of your own home. Every approved used Jaguar, Land Rover or Volvo comes with a minimum of 12 months warranty, roadside assistance, MOT test warranty, an independent mileage and service history check, software updates and lots more. Check out lookers.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now back to the podcast.
I wear a few different hats as a CFO. Sometimes it's referred to as Chief Fixing Officer. Wherever there's a fire in the business, I'm often there first.
Whatever hat CFOs like Imran need to wear, Sage's tools and insights can make sure they fit. Sage, helping business flow.
The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Taking more of your calls until 6 o'clock on Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson, Gorodn Dalziel in the studio with me, Andrew Mclean. 0141 951 1025 is how you get in touch. There was a title win, as we mentioned earlier on, for Falkirk as well. It's a big one for them as well. 5 years in League One is a long time. They could have won it last weekend, didn't quite manage it because Hamilton got the win, but they've got over the line this time.
Yeah, they've been misplaced persons. Falkirk are a big club in Scottish football. They have a big fan base. To be in the third tier, and for as long as they were there, was a sad story. But now John McGlynn has written a positive chapter, and the only way is up for them. They're into the Championship. They'll get terrific crowds, and they'll be a welcome addition to that league.
Yeah, any Falkirk fans out there, give us a call, 0141951 1025. Let's speak to Richie, who's a Rangers fan in Hamilton. Richie, what did you take away from that game today?
How you doing, guys? First of all, one of the main things, I've lost my voice from shouting so much, mainly at Dickinson. I thought, Hugh, you said that he had quite a simple day. I think he was nothing. He's actually nothing short of simple. Four times Rangers were in possession of the ball, and he blew up for say a clash of heads or something. But Rangers had the possession. The ball was then given back to Hibs. There was one time in particular, the ball was going out wide. It was going out for a throw in, a Rangers throw in. The two players were on the ground. They could have let the ball go out, blew for the throw, given the throw in to Rangers, and went back for the clash of heads, because they were on the deck for maybe 10 seconds already. It was when he saw the ball going out, he blew up for the throw, he blew up for the clash of heads, went back, and then gave the ball back to Hibs. It also happened when Lawrence was on the attack as well. Lawrence was on the attack. We had the ball, he blew up, and then he gave the ball back to Marshall. I don't know what the rule is. Nobody inside the ground knew what the rule was. I was just wondering if you guys can shed any light on that.
I have to say, forgive me, but this is trivia. Philippe Clement has taken Rangers back to the top of the league. He is on course for a treble, and we're going on about a man who, I repeat, I think had a relatively simple afternoon of all. The afternoon was about Rangers recovering from the penalty miss, and then the rebound goal from Scott Wright being chalked off because of encroachment, and the strength of will that Rangers showed. I have to say, the nitpicking, you haven't come on to give your team a bit of credit. You've come on to nitpick about things from a referee.
Listen, I'll give them all the credit in the world. I always do. I'm fully behind them. I have been since I was born. But listen, those decisions could have cost us the game. If Rabbi Matondo doesn't come on and score an absolute screamer, we could have been punished for those decisions. If those attacking moments, then the ball was given back to Hibs and then they played out and scored, we'd be talking different here. We'd be talking all about the referee and those decisions. So it's not nitpicking. What I'm doing is I'm highlighting the inept level of Scottish football refereeing, and it is getting shocking.
But you are taking hypothetical situations to the extreme. Could have cost you the game. No.
It cost us points, yeah.
No, it couldn't. I mean, you're describing trivial incidents, and also, you again feel when you say it could have cost Rangers the game. Rangers won the game because they would not let anything get in their way, like a Hibs equaliser, like the penalty miss, like the rebound goal being struck off for encroachment. Rangers' strength of will got them the game. For me, I don't know the point he's trying to make here.
Is this maybe just a sign of how tight the title race is, that people in the next few weeks will start to pick up on absolutely everything, Mark?
I don't think it's anything new. I think fans have been doing that all season, and each supporter group will point at referees and say how inconsistent they are and how they've been done by certain decisions that has cost them points. But I've got to say, I'm with Hugh on this one, with Richie's point. He bringing up points at drop balls and asking us to comment.
And that's the thing, obviously we don't see the footage. It's a Saturday 3 o'clock kickoff, so we're not 100% sure. That obviously the rule is, if the referee has to stop play, then whatever team is in possession of the ball at the time should be given possession back, is the rule. So people, having seen the incidents, can then make up their minds based on that. What did you make of the performance, Richie, ahead of a big game next weekend?
I thought we were superb. I thought we were dogged at times, and we whenever we started to let Hibs back into it, we managed to get a stranglehold of the game again. I thought it was a silly, sloppy goal to give away. I've seen us give goals like that away this season before, and you're kind of sitting there before half time thinking, oh no, here we go. But the length of time it took to go to VAR for the penalty and for the encroachment kind of gave us that extra 7 minutes in the first half, and Dessel's done well to put it away. I think he missed a sitter in the second half that could have made it even more comfortable. I think, as I say, when we were in possession, when the game got stopped, there was a couple of we were quite high intensity at the time. I'm gutted for Sima. He didn't bury that at the end. I thought that would have been a good way to go into next week. But I'm really positive. I think we can go up another gear. So it's a good game, 3-1 coming back for the international break. Got minutes in the legs, and I think we're looking comfortable with the players coming back for next week. I think we'll go and do the business, and we'll be 5 points ahead when it come the split.
Yeah, a big test of character when Rangers conceded that goal just at the start of injury time in the first half. I'm sure supporters would be looking on with keen interest to see how the players responded, because there are going to be these big moments in the next few weeks over and over again, you'd think, and they'll be encouraged by the fact that Rangers didn't let their heads go down. They got forward, and a real piece of quality, first of all from Cantwell to play the ball in from the right, and then the Dessers header as well.
You could easily have looked at Rangers and thought, okay, we'll get in 1-1, sit down, have a chat with the manager, change one or two things, come out in the second half. They've still got 45 plus minutes at home against Hibs. You expect them to go and win the game, score goals, but it's just the strength of character. They go forward, they get that goal, they want that goal going in at half time, they want to be leading at half time, put the pressure on Hibs. I think Rangers have had a real good day. I don't know about performances, I wasn't there. I just look at now, from now to the end of the season, it's about the points. The only thing I think would disappoint the manager slightly, and I'm saying very slightly, teams pride themselves and they work very hard in it, back fours and goalkeepers on clean sheets. I thought it was a sloppy goal to give away, but take nothing away from Rangers. They got the job done, and they put a little bit of pressure on Celtic at Livingston tomorrow.
Richie, Rangers were looking quite bare in terms of personnel over the last few weeks, just with injuries. But when you look at the players coming off the bench, Tom Lawrence, Rabbi Matondo comes on and scores, Abdallah Sima comes on after injury, Dujon Sterling off the bench, Ross McCausland as well. Is that great to see ahead of a busy run-in?
It's definitely all 100% positive. The players that came on did make an impact, and Big Dooge, he's unbelievable. He can play anywhere, honestly. If Butland went off injured, I think they'd put him in goals. He's absolutely superb, and he done a great job at left back. I was a wee bit worried at Tav at the end. He kind of went down. I'm hoping it's more cramped than anything else, because he would be a big miss going forward to the end of the season. But listen, we're getting stronger and stronger, and as I say, the players coming back are going to be a massive impact. And I do think if we go and when we go and beat Celtic next Sunday, I think we can go on and win the league. I think that will be the kick start for us again, and we've got it in us. We've definitely got the players there to do it.
Thank you to Richie. Let's stick with the phones. Jack is a Rangers fan in Baillieston. Jack, what have you got for us tonight?
Alright, panel. It's just a wee point I'd like to make, and I've heard a couple of fans on already complaining about the referee, and granted the refereeing performance wasn't great, but even with that, full credit has to go to the Rangers team today. Apart from the goal that we conceded, I thought they were terrific all over the pitch. I've seen a couple of man of the matches given to Tav and given to Dessers, but the two boys in the middle of the park, Diamandi and John Lundstrom, absolutely controlled that game. Both of them complete and utter Rolls Royce performances, and I think that if we control the middle of the park like that against Celtic, I think we could be in for a good day with the Rangers fans behind them. Obviously no Celtic fans there. I think it's going to be one in the middle of the park, in my opinion.
How key could that area be next weekend with John Lundstrom and Mohamed Diamandi?
Yeah.
Maybe don't get the headlines that other players do at times because of the work they do in there, but could they be a big part of a potential Rangers victory next week?
Without doubt. I mean, it's a crucial area of the pitch, and an area where Celtic have been so strong over the years, with Callum McGregor dictating games, and the last one at Celtic Park, Callum McGregor was outstanding. But you've got to say Lundstrom is a player who has been transformed under Clement, and with Diamandi, since he's came to Scottish football, he's just taken a duck to water with it, and he's sat in there beside Lundstrom. The two of them look a fit double act. They look powerful. I don't think they do anything too fancy. They allow those creative players in front of them to go and do their job. And if you're going to build any sort of sustained pressure on Celtic, you're going to have two capable midfielders able to hold the middle of the pitch for you. So they're playing very well at the minute, and that area, as I said earlier, is going to be crucial to who comes out of this game in top.
Jack, there had been a bit of talk over the international break about interest in John Lundstrom. I think it was from Trabzonspor. His contract's obviously up in the summer. Philip Clement was asked about it yesterday and said that he's confident that he'll sign a new deal. Says there's a lot of love on both sides, I think was the exact quote. Was that good to hear?
Definitely. I seen an interview with John Lundstrom from maybe a couple of years ago. It's been battering over social media, and he turned around and said he would love to finish his career at Ibrox. So I think if there's a deal on the table for him, and if it's probably more than a year, I don't think he would have any problem in taking that deal. But I genuinely think it's crucial that we do keep him, not only for how good he's playing at the minute, but he does seem like a personality in the dressing room, and he seems like the kind of guy who will get the rest of his team absolutely up for games like your Celtic game or like your Hibs or your Aberdeen away, and you need characters in that dressing room to go and win leagues.
Out of contract players in the summer, is he the one that Rangers need to keep a hold of most, Gordon?
Yeah, certainly the way he's playing just now. He's became a big important part of the jigsaw under a new manager. There's no doubt about that. His form's been terrific. I agree with the caller there. It'll depend on the length of the contract, because he's a big hitter apparently at Ibrox. He's on a fair wage. He's at that stage of his career now that his next contract probably maybe his last at this level. So if he wants to finish his career at Ibrox, brilliant. If they can sit down, thrash out a deal. I just think if there'd be one stumbling block with players nowadays at the latter stages of the career, is how long the contract is. And if Rangers and John Lundstrom can agree in that, I think he'll be a Rangers player until he finishes.
He's arguably the most improved player under Clement. And Clement,
Ridvan Yilmaz in there as well.
Well, yeah, but I think Lundstrom on a consistent basis, and I think Clement admires him and understands the importance of him staying at Ibrox. Therefore, I take Dazzler's point about the length of the contract. Rangers will take that point on board as well, and a deal will be done.
Well, thank you to Jack. 01419511025. If you've got any more thoughts, let's start hearing from some of the managers, starting with Stephen Naismith.
I think for me, the hardest games to deal with are the ones after international breaks. As a player, as a coaching staff, it's really difficult because you 4 or 5 hour players didn't come back into training until Friday. But then also the intenseness of being international, you're travelling in into the game. I think that showed in our performance. We start the game really well. We ask the question to get in the front foot, attack. We get a goal at a good time. But then the wee moments when we did break through them, we just didn't have that sharpness. But it's difficult. To give all the players a lot of information yesterday, to then go into the game. I think even the goal summed it up. Shank's going through and goal, you think he's going to touch and finish, it gets away from him, but his intelligence to find the Kenneth's brilliant. But that was probably the biggest thing. We knew it was going to be a battle and a fight, and Kilmarnock are really good at what they do. They're direct. The one time we don't set up properly, they get their goal, but it's a brilliant finish from Marley, and it's having a really good season. The frustrating part is that we did have opportunities to them and maybe score a second, we didn't do it. But after the international break, another game's gone by, the teams haven't gained any ground, and that's a positive.
Well, they drew with Kilmarnock. Derek McInnes speaking about the fact that they secured their top 6 place with that draw.
To do it with 2 games to spare is testament to so much good work with the club, you know, particularly the players, but you know, my staff, the board. Big effort. The club was in a poor place 3 years ago. Obviously we came in just over 2 years ago, and as a championship team, and managed to get out of that first attempt, which wasn't easy, and it wasn't without its challenges. Last season we were still punching and fighting and scraping to try and make sure we stayed a Premier League team. So, you know, I think a lot of changes made in the summer. So a lot of good work done by a lot of good people, and we've managed to deliver a top 6 finish, which was terrific for us, you know.
I remember Derek McInnes saying at the start of the season that essentially their first season back in the Premiership was to just make sure they stay in the division and make sure that they're a solid Premiership side, and then in the summer really wanted them to kick on, and getting a top 6 place, securing that with a couple of games to go, is a big success story, isn't it?
They're a stable club again, and that's down to him. As he said, he took over a place that wasn't in the best of shape, and he has stabilised the entire club. So the league place speaks for itself. It's about hard work, good signings, consistency, and Derek McInnes can feel proud of himself.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. You know, one of our top managers in this country, and did it over a couple of clubs now. You looked at his teams with Aberdeen and where he got them to, but he highlights it perfectly there. Going to Kilmarnock, you know, in the Championship at the time, not an easy league to get out. He manages to get them up, and then you know, consolidate them as a Premiership club. But to get them top 6, he's a guy with a plan, and to be fair, he's right, he has been backed. But in management, it's all about how you coach the players and who you sign, and he's done both very, very well. Kilmarnock are a good side, and better things to come, I think, for Kilmarnock if Derek McInnes stays in charge.
You look at the squad as well, it's full of tried and tested Scottish Premiership players, players that Derek McInnes knows, ones that he knows can perform at this level. That's been really key to sort of getting a team that are capable of not just competing in the Premiership, but towards the top end.
Yeah, manager, you've got to give him credit. His eye for a player is very, very good. We said it earlier in the show about the strength of the bench as well. He's built a real good solid squad there. He's moulded them into a very good side, and they deserve to be in the top 6. They've been excellent this season. Their Achilles heel last year, when they come up, was their away form. They've turned that round. They're winning at home. They're going and getting good results away from home. They're playing good football. They're scoring goals. They've just got a good look about them, Kilmarnock.
Well, Falkirk have started their title party early already. A goal up away to Montrose. Ross McKeever scoring in that game. We still want to hear from you though. 0141 951 1025.
After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Into the final part of today's Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gorodn Dalziel here to take your calls. 0141 951 1025. Maybe you've got some thoughts on the game tomorrow as well. Celtic, of course, now in second place after Rangers' victory today against Hibs. Let's hear what Brendan Rodgers has to say about that game tomorrow.
We seen only a few weeks ago that we played Livingston and they gave us a tough game. We were very good going forward in the game, but gave up too much on the other side. So that's something that we will need to be better in. But overall, I'm really happy where we're at after the international break. Getting players back, the squad's looking strong, and the players have been really, really good in training. And we look to take that into the game. We know it'll be a challenge for us, as it always is at Livingston. But as you said, we played well there last time, and we look to do that again.
Brendan Rodgers saying it will be a challenge like it always is at Livingston. Is that still ring true, do you think?
Yeah, every game will be a challenge, but I don't think the days of thinking, oh, Livingston, difficult place to go to, are there. Like the table says it all. They're sitting down there. They'll probably be relegated. They're not. Well, they've won 3 games all season. You've got a Celtic team that know how important tomorrow is to get the 3 points going into next week's game. So I think that Celtic will go there. Brendan Rodgers talking about he's happy with the way the squad's coming along. He's getting some of his big players back as well. Be interesting in his lineup tomorrow. But I think they'll have more than enough to take care of Livingston.
Is there just that added pressure to get the result? Yes, to go back ahead of Rangers in the league, but to make sure they get the win ahead of playing Rangers next Sunday.
Of course, we've said it all afternoon. When you get to this stage, it is about the result. That's the overriding thing. And you go to Livingston anyway, I don't think you're going to get a stellar performance from any side. But I would agree with Daz. Livingston, isn't it Livingston we've seen in previous seasons, have conceded 52 goals. They're 10 points adrift at the bottom of the table. Yes, they gave Celtic a wee scare at Celtic Park, scored a couple of good goals on that occasion. But it's all about tempo for Celtic tomorrow, how they approach it, not allowing Livy just to sit in, because it's a narrow, smaller pitch and Livy can make it difficult. So if they manage to get an early goal, then it should be enough to see them through.
Andy is up next. He's a Rangers fan on the line. Andy, happy with today's performance?
Yeah, good evening. Professional. I think something we've struggled with in the past before Clement came in is coming back from any kind of break, international, winter, and performing. And again, that's a team that you would expect can do damage to either side of the Old Firm, and they never troubled us, bar one blitz that was of our own doing. I don't think Jack Butland had a save to make really the rest of the game. So yeah, could have been 5 or 6 and should have been had the referee been more competent.
We're back to this referee that none of us noticed. But anyway,
look, in fairness, there are a lot of tweets coming in of Rangers fans that are unhappy with what the previous caller, who was it that was saying about the drop ball situation, unhappy with it. So it's certainly not gone unnoticed today. I will say that we haven't seen those certain situations, but look, there are a lot of Rangers fans that are unhappy, that feel that the drop balls should have gone their way instead of the way of Hibs.
The caller said that the drop balls could have cost Rangers points. I disagree. Rangers got the points because, as Andy on the line has stated, they came out of the international break and they were bang on it, and they survived the whole mess around the penalty and the encroachment and all, the Hibs equaliser. They overcame everything and they won convincingly, and Sima might have made it 4-1 right at the end. So for me, a more than comfortable afternoon, a more than optimistic outlook now for Rangers and their supporters where the Celtic game is concerned, and Clement will go away and come up with an 11 to start the game that will cause maximum difficulty to Celtic. But first of all, Celtic have to get Livingston out of the way.
Yeah, it's quite early to talk about team selection for next weekend, Andy, but with Sima coming off the bench, and I think he could have scored late on by the sounds of it from what Gabriel was saying, are you hoping that he's in a place that he can make an impact in some way, shape or form next weekend?
Yeah, I think that's what we've been missing, is options off the bench. Almost all season we've had a relatively strong 11 and there's been nothing to go to in terms of depth due to a dearth of injuries across the board. I think we've got options next week. I would probably start the same team today, barring Ridvan, the obvious one, back in at left back. I think he's been kept for that. The rest of them, I would be more than happy to go with that. And I genuinely feel come the 10th of April, about 10 o'clock, Rangers will be 8 points clear. 8
points clear? That's some shout. What gives you that confidence?
I don't think Celtic will win tomorrow. I think they've got a side that, do you know Matt O'Reilly, great player, but ever since Atletico Madrid came in, he's not been the same player at all. I think their defence has finally been shown up for what it is. Joe Hart's retirement tour isn't going particularly well, and I can just see Livingston will get something tomorrow. The way they performed at Parkhead, they should have came away with something in that game and didn't. And I just think we'll win next week. We've got a midfield that can control the game now. That's where we've lacked it in the past. And then we'll go on to beat Dundee, and I think that'll be one hand on the trophy at that point.
You like a bold prediction here?
Yeah, I was just thinking, Andy's a man after my own heart. Say what you think, say it out loud, and have the courage of your convictions to stand by it. I go back to standing in this studio a few weeks ago. It's 2-2 Celtic and Livingston at Celtic Park in the Scottish Cup, and Joe Hart has to save with his foot to stop Livingston going 3-2 in front. And I know that their league form all season long has been pretty much abysmal. That's why they're 10 points adrift at the bottom of the league. But Celtic have to negotiate this game, and I wonder if they'll play Carter Vickers on that surface tomorrow, because if anything were to happen in the midst of a season where Carter Vickers has been plagued by injury, I don't think that Celtic would like to go to Ibrox minus Carter Vickers and possibly Callum McGregor as well.
Well, thank you to Andy. Just on that point, Gordon, how do you think Brendan Rodgers goes about his team selection for that game tomorrow with the injuries and players coming back from injury, with it being the artificial surface as well?
I think the big question mark is what Hugh touched on there, Carter Vickers. Do you risk him tomorrow? Me personally, I think next week is too important. If there's any doubt at all, I don't. And now you can look back and say, well, without him, Celtic's defence isn't the greatest. They struggle a little bit without that leadership. But if you're a Celtic centre half, I don't care, you can name the ones that they've signed, or Welsh and all these guys. If you're a Celtic half and you can't go to Livingston and play with Celtic centre back, you shouldn't be there, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know how Brendan Rodgers will look at that, but middle to front, I think he'll play as strong as he possibly can, because as Andy said there, they can't afford to drop points tomorrow. They can't leave that gap. They've got to keep that pressure on. Rangers are throwing down the gauntlet this afternoon. It's up to Celtic to pick up the baton now and run with it tomorrow. I think he'll go with his strongest side. His big question mark is, does he risk his centre half on that pitch?
Well, let's hear a bit from Tony Docherty. I think he's been speaking to Roger Hannah about the Super Scoreboard Goal of the Week contenders.
Huge, absolutely massive one, and more important for me as manager, I couldn't be more proud of the players, because I think over a season you look at games, we've had a great 4-0 against St Mirren, a 4-1 against St Johnstone, for example, but that one today is a different type of win, and a real, a display of real mentality, resilience, togetherness. But for me, it just shows how much we're developing as a team, because there was that accusation earlier on the season when we're dominating games, we don't win them. But to grind that out today and get a win, one each, and be brave. We made a tactical change at one each to go and win it, but the players need to take that one board, and they did it. And I thought they merited, their bravery merited them going and getting that 3 points. It's typical VAR in it. I thought it was going to ruin my day, but I think it was the right decision, because I think Ryan McGowan, when I see it back, Ryan McGowan prior to that pushes Armdorn into the net. So I thought it was the right decision, and I've got to commend the referee for standing by his decision. So often you see, and it's a criticism that games are getting refereed in the VAR studio. That game was refereed by the referee, and he stuck by his decision that he was on the pitch, he felt it, he smelt it, and he made the right decision, I think. I know, it doesn't surprise me, Lyle Campbell doing that. I see him doing that during the week. His technique is fantastic, but to execute that skill on a pitch like that without taking a touch, have the wherewithal to see who the goalkeeper is, I thought it was absolutely outstanding. And in a game that was probably, from our point of view, devoid of quality, that was a moment of real quality, and I hope you'll kind of wax lyrical on that.
You've got a goal of the week in Super Scoreboard on the Monday night goal of the week?
I would go goal of the week. Don't want to get carried away.
Almost said goal of the season there, didn't he?
But he's done a tremendous job. The choice of manager of the year at Fraser Wishart's absolutely magnificent affair
he's not listening
is chosen by other managers, so they will assess the job that Tony Docherty has done in relation to what Philippe Clement has done, or Derek McInnes, or Brendan Rodgers, or anybody else. But the job he's done is more than satisfactory, whether or not he gets any award at all.
Yeah, a huge win in terms of pushing for the top six. There was that sort of scary moment they had towards the end, that VAR decision that almost gave St Johnstone a goal but didn't. But with Hibs losing today, Dundee winning, they'll fancy their chances of getting a top six place.
Well, I think so. When you find yourself in the space there just now, of course, I don't think they would have thought about that at the start of the season, but now you're there, of course your eyes are fixed on a top six finish. and they're the favourites. They have got players at the top end of the pitch that can score valuable goals, and they can score the outstanding goals, as you've seen Lyle Cameron today. So contender for goal of the week, Tony Dock. Contender for manager of the year if he keeps going the way he's going.
And final contribution from Gorodn Dalziel. I just want to hear his voice crack from earlier on again.
No, he didn't look fit at all.
That will never get old, and I fear for you, because I think that is going to play over and over again. Just one of the many good things that happened today in Scottish football. How do you sum it all up, Hugh?
The big issues are starting to crystallise. Rangers go on top in front of Celtic. It's up to Celtic tomorrow. We've got arguments for and against at the Tony Macaroni Stadium, but the players cannot afford to let down Brendan Rodgers and the Celtic supporters. At the bottom, Aberdeen took a massive step away from trouble. The trouble now rests at the door of St Johnstone and Ross County, because they are fighting it out now to see who takes part in the relegation playoffs.
Yes, over to Celtic and Livingston tomorrow. Celtic seeing if they can go back on top of the Premiership. We'll give you all the reaction to that when we're back on Monday night. But thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for your tweets. Thank you for your calls. Thanks to Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gorodn Dalziel in the studio. And make sure to stick around, because it is the perfect way to spend your Saturday night on Easter weekend. It's the GBX.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast
with Luker's Land Rover. Looking to sell your Land Rover? Contact them today for a no obligation quotation.